somebody like this, their job should be ringing the bell in the cathedral. That's it. That's the entire job. That's all they do. And you know what? I guarantee you sometimes the bell wouldn't get rung. There's a responsibility and a place for these people.
It's hard as a racialized and traditionally delegate to sometimes use this card.
Shut up,
and
freak.
Speak to somebody in front of me in line and ask,
weirdo.
hey, this pertains to multiple intersecting parts of my lived experience. I'd like to speak. I was rejected when I taught this.
It's an ideology. It's completely self-referential narcissism.
I don't know if you guys can see the video I'm watching. Let's see. Oh, that's like down below. I very well might get a copyright strike, but I'm such a small channel, I don't think they'll really care. So let's put picture-in-picture on the right window. Okay, there we go.
Then it makes it a lot easier for them to have this identity. I mean, they don't have to think about it. They don't have to.
Because they're dumb. These people are low-IQ invertebrates.
It's completely self-referential narcissism, and it is a lens in which they see the entire world. And that's the reason why
Low IQ invertebrates. Low IQ invertebrates. Low IQ. It does look like Bobby Lee. Shit. Alright, let me get my webcam up, guys. Give me a second.
Her rights are important too. This pertains to her too, but I don't know.
1 second, guys. Webcam up. Webcam is up and running. Bring both of these things to the front.
That's all. Thank you.
Move to top.
So true. Oh my god.
Okay,
like, this is, it's crazy how they can't
put it
even
back in
run
tab.
their own system right. Oh
And
my
then
god,
webcam.
what is this?
Just move to
There
top,
is mentally
transform, move to
narcissistic
top,
losers.
border,
I mean,
move to
that's
top,
really
okay,
all there
cool.
is to it.
But yeah, I might have a backlight, but that's fine. It's just the light. Also, I haven't been live lately because my computer was like, my CPU was heating on my room, and it was like kind of hot in my room lately, or like not in my room, but in my area that I live in.
Delegates to assist
I'm gonna put
me
this in
using the card by forming a
put this in picture-in-picture mode so I can see it while I'm playing the
behind
game.
the microphone.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Because that was offensive to gay people. Because they're not straight, they're gay. It's
Who the
also
fuck cares
offensive
about
to
these
drunk
people?
drivers because they can't drive straight.
With a prominently displayed equity
Alright.
card, if I see speakers
Let's
ahead
see
of you
something.
who are
Picture in
not
picture,
holding
there
the
we go,
card
okay, cool.
prominently, it would
Yeah.
be wrong of me to guess about their gender identity.
It would
And
be
I will
wrong
come
of
to you.
me.
That's so true.
This applies so far according to your rules.
It would be
for
wrong of me.
gender identity.
And you have to keep in mind that the reason why I will never
Alright,
vote
let
for
me
a
get a second.
Democrat for anything is because
weird
they
and
enable these
insane.
people. They don't
Stuff like
necessarily
this.
agree with these people.
Oh yeah, that's probably
but
true,
they
but
will
like
enable these
they'll
people
let
to
them do their
whatever
thing.
they want.
And they don't need to
whenever
do
you
the
vote
thing.
For what's considered a moderate Democrat, you are actually voting for these people because they enable these people.
He's other than a dude, but it is open to us to change our rules as we like as we move forward
Yeah.
into the bright and golden future. Thank you,
Golden
friends.
future.
Let's see the balloting co-chairs.
Paladin co-shares.
Here we go.
Alright then, lady.
I'm directed to a
Golden
point on
future.
item 3.
Golden
Point of
future.
information. I'm not sure if it's
Okay.
appropriate for me to bring a point of privilege around an emergent issue with some job loss in my workplace.
What the fuck is this, HR video?
Isn't it crazy how nothing is ever even discussed or done? It's just people talking about themselves. This is what I was talking about. It's just complete narcissism. That's it. It's all narcissism. This is amazing. Oh my god. What do you call that haircut?
The
It
Hitler
is
haircut?
impairing
The
your
Hitler
ability to-
youth haircut?
Honestly, that's the same haircut that Nazi lieutenants had in
Yeah.
World War II.
It is, it looks weird on it looks weird on this Karen. What the fuck? Bro, what the fuck is this?
Where is it?
It's fucking bizarre on this bitch. Yeah, see, look, that's what I'm talking about. You can see it on the thing.
Welcome back. That's crazy. What are the odds
Yeah,
of
that's
that?
fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only seen this movie 100 times. All right. So. Yeah, I guess so. Crazy. What are the odds? Wow.
Why can't you play with missions enabled on
What the fuck? Yeah.
whatever? Alright.
Participate in the meeting. It is a correct point of privilege. If you'd like an announcement to be made from the stage,
I'll
we can
play
arrange
with
for
Iron
that
Man
and then the
enabled just
delegates
because I
can
know
hear it
people are
from
gonna
here.
get on my ass about it.
Not right now.
But I might play with
Okay,
missions
but I
also.
wanna announce
I don't
that
really care if I
changed
get
my gender
achievements
for
or
the
not.
third time
But
today.
I don't know.
If you don't let me do it, I'm being oppressed.
I'll try and
Thank
get an
you.
achievement
Bring it to me.
too.
We'll find a way.
Alright.
We'll
Good.
find a way.
Okay.
We will find a way.
And so let me see, I think there's even more of this.
See, I don't know. Like, some of these people are like lightweight wannabe authoritarians in government. Like, especially in Canada, dude. Canada's like
Look, if you're in the audience,
basic
you're probably just
bitch
as retarded as
Germany.
they
In, like, Canada's like Germ. Oh my gosh, shut the fuck up. No one cares. Shut up.
As we conduct this convention today
Who
and
cares?
the past 2 days,
Be quiet.
right now there's discussions of 10,000
Alright, let's get the
American
budget
men and
balanced.
women being sent to Iran,
Oh
being
my
deployed
god, shut the fuck
just
up.
to be part
Go
of this
then.
bloodbath.
Bloodbath!
Canada cannot and will not be part of the legacy of blood that was built in
The
Iraq,
legacy of
in
blood and iron
Palestine,
in
now
the
in Iran.
crazy person
This is a
convention.
no question.
I'm sorry.
Blut und Eisen.
I'm sorry, Karen, but the protester executions will stop. I'm sorry, but the religious executions are going to be ending. That's right. We're gonna end it. We're gonna
Blut
pack
und
them
Eisen.
all up. That's right. Iran twice. That's it. We got a lot of work to do.
Okay, so we're gonna import honey from Bordeaux,
Thank you.
Master, yeah,
and grain.
it's gonna happen.
Your point's quite well made, Speaker. I'll,
Shut up,
again,
you
thank
nervous
delegates
Nelly.
not to call me Madam Chair or Madame la Présidente. I'm a
What the fuck?
non-binary
Shut the
person.
fuck
My
up.
pronouns are they, them, and their. Chair is
Tough
sufficient.
nubs.
And with regret, you've spoken to the resolution. It's not open to you to
Tough
also call the
shit
question.
nuggets, lady.
If the question is the will of the House, someone else must call it because we heard from you.
This is the Karen Ouroboros. This is the.
You didn't follow the procedures.
You have a bunch of entitled, narcissistic, mentally ill millennials that have held. An
You
entire
need to
convention
follow procedure
to talk
or
about
you
themselves
die.
And to argue about protocols and bureaucratic procedure.
I know people like this. I live in the government town,
That's right.
capital
That's
city.
what this is.
There you go. You know people like this.
It's unbelievable.
I see so many people like this in my daily life.
It's the Oppression Olympics, yes, and they're all losers.
In substantive debate.
They're fucking annoying, is what they are.
Okay, I was not aware. I was
Weird rule.
Yeah, just because you're weird too.
Yes, thank you. My name is Fred Farhat
Agnes
Sufi.
and Karen.
Jesus Christ. Let me see if there's any more of these.
Who the fuck is this old man? Actually, he looks like he might have
There's a point
decent
of privilege
opinion.
on
He's probably
microphone
just
one,
from
then we'll go
around.
to microphone 3.
Well,
Go
unless
ahead,
he's like
Alex.
a radical.
We saw this one. Okay, good. Let me go and pull up the other one.
Okay, so we
Sorry,
need to
guys, I
import
wanna make sure
this.
that we get the entire thing for this.
I want to like minimize the amount
That
we
point
don't
of privilege,
need.
yep, that's right.
No,
Speak to
go into
somebody
the
in front of
smaller
you.
Make
amount.
sure if there's any more
You
of
want
these
this
so
as
that I haven't
That
missed
was-
out on. And okay, is
Okay,
this?
so we'll import point 4.
No, this is obviously a meme. And it's a
Look at
dumpster
that. Oh, they're
fire.
like-
Oh god. Let
Yeah.
me see if there's any
Time
more.
and-
Yeah, there's just this. Okay, here's maybe another one.
And then let me consult the people who are counting. So everyone who is not. counter. Take a seat.
So this is the 2019.
Take a seat. Everyone.
Take a seat.
Take a seat so that we can count.
Take a seat now. You're back in elementary school. Sit down, slave.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege. Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want
Shut
to
up,
say,
go
please keep the
away.
chatter to a minimum. I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus.
You disgrace my city. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up,
It's affecting my ability to focus.
loser.
Thank you, comrade. Okay.
Comrade.
Speaker against name,
What the
chapter,
fuck?
pronoun.
Privilege, point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Dude, what are you, bro? What are you? What are you doing?
No, wait, that's that same retard that, like, wait a minute. This fat retard decided there was a line, and he just cut in the line. And we saw this part.
We have a lot of disabled comrades.
We know.
We have a lot of disabled comrades. Shut up.
Hold on. Point of order. Yep.
So,
Point of order.
Sorry, what's your name and
my
your...
name is Trey. I use they, them, and he, them pronouns.
Okay,
Yeah.
buddy.
Thank you.
Why are you coming from so far away, these people? Why are these people coming from so far away?
We know.
So, Nick? Jack? What is his name? Or what is his name? Nick J. They were elected as an at-large delegate before they resigned. Is that correct?
What is this place, dude? Where are they interviewing these people?
Never mind.
Now,
Weird.
Thank you. Hi, I am NDP from Los Angeles, they them pronouns. Could I please ask the chair to...
NDP?
again,
What is this fucking...
There was a previous point of privilege about
The
waving
fuck?
around signs, that it is distracting to other comrades. I have autism. This is
Okay, I bet you do.
And I would like to ask our fellow delegates,
Fucking
please
vegetable.
not wave around your signs,
Like,
especially...
not ever... I don't know. Like,
Thank you.
yes.
I know people who have autism and they're not that fucking weird.
Thank you.
This fucking freak of nature, performative freak of nature, is making everyone else who has that shit look bad. I swear to
I
God.
don't even know what to say. I really don't. This is the most mentally ill brain. Oh wait, no, this is a new one. What
we can
does
put
Fatty
brain, I
say?
think. Well, let's see what Fatty is saying. Let's see what Fatty's saying.
The microphones seem really low today. It's hard to hear everyone at the mic.
Bro, shut the fuck up, you fat blubber lard.
It's really hard to hear.
You lard ball.
Captioning also is slower to make it hard to keep
Holy
up with what's
shit,
going
this
on.
person's annoying.
All they do is talk about themselves and complain
how they're
about
annoyed.
bureaucratic processes. That's
Yeah, these
literally
people are
all
dumb.
Like, does anything ever get done? Like, they
Fuck
hold
no,
an
it doesn't.
event. It goes on all day, and nobody... They don't even do anything. There's no greater ideology that this serves. It's all just self-serving narcissism.
Oh wait, you know what I'm doing wrong?
Point of privilege.
Shut
There's
up.
not enough snack cakes.
Point of privilege. I want more donuts. That fat person right there. Yeah, fuck
You
them.
have a hearing impairment? I don't believe you.
Let's have some order. We'll hear from the delegate on the microphone.
Let's have some order. The first order. The first order. All hail the first order.
Let's take the microphone to that delegate. We'll hear from them right now.
Hail the first order.
Oh no! Was this what we were talking about? Whatever yesterday we talked about.
What the fuck did I just hear?
gangs? Oh my God! All right, let's go.
Oh, it sounded like someone
Let's hear it.
shouting in my
Here we go.
neighborhood on the block. Maybe it's on this video.
My pronouns are she, her, elle, and en français. It's gonna be really hard to follow.
All français.
Amazing
Pronouns are
speaker.
all français.
We are a working class party. I think most of us in
You're not a working class party.
Yeah, you're a
This is
fucking
so
freak
privileged,
upper
it's
class
insane.
weirdo
Everyone
party.
in this fucking building is privileged as fuck. You are the most, like, do you really think that people that are working class have time to think about getting piercings and tattoos, dressing up like a DLC battle pass reward
Yeah, what the
for
fuck are you
Assassin's
doing,
Creed
bro?
Shadows? Do you really think that you have the opportunity to do that? No. This is only something that is a privilege of first worlders that are living in a world that is protected by people that think the exact opposite of what they do. It's embarrassing. Oh my God.
I think our first goal is going to be to construct a market warehouse.
These people actually.
I also sorry for going full like annoyed on this fucking stupid ass video, but these people are beyond stupid, dude.
These people. Honestly, he would be so sad watching this. Can you think about the level of disappointment Joseph Stalin would have with this event?
One person.
He would be so upset.
Holy shit, we're weird. We like fucking like some magic looking thing. Wizard ass Gandalf fucking freak. Holy shit, what the hell?
The closed captions for this convention are running between 6 and 10 seconds behind. So it's just a request for the chairpersons to be aware.
I bet the person in charge of this event hates their job. Especially the staff of the event center.
Yes, bonjour. Hi. My name is Parker Tian. I'm representing Vancouver Quadra. Just to decline my Franco comrades point of privilege earlier. As you can see, I do have one of the translating device. However, I'd like to raise this to the chair's concern that the sign-off process for this device is not necessarily the best because.
Dude, China. Go back. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that, but like, this guy, like, you're complaining about the language it's in, man. I'm sorry, but that's not what it's supposed to be.
I request you to fill out the form and give a piece of your ID, and most people don't even know where to get it, which is behind the registration table, and also like they don't have enough.
Get it at the registration table, sir.
And not be completely fucking embarrassed. It's a comedy movie. Yes, these people are so retarded, and I don't even know what to say. I really don't. I have no idea what to say about this. It's so fucking pathetic. And what is this here? That one after the that is. And let me go back and find some other ones. Complaining. Yeah, now they're complaining about complaining. Absolutely fucking useless.
Okay, there we go. I'm just trying to get up all the resources we need that we can't get naturally in our territory. Like, I know we can get stone, we can get wool, we can get fish. I just want to have some food and medicine. Like, so like medicaments we need for the. We're not going to close our economy, by the way, when the Black Death hits. Just for reference. Oh no, we already have a.
They have far more building plans than staff. Now, 1,000 staff have just been laid off. That's right. That's about 20% of the company. That's a huge amount. $20 in operating costs. Holy shit. On top of that, and since it's still in break, we've been speaking to insiders, and we can see that the impact of this decision is going to hit far more than just Fortnite. Yeah, of course, the staff are gone from Epic. What about the ripple effects everywhere else? And the inputs. Turns out.
Oh, multiverses. Remember that game? It died.
Epic Games just showed the world that one of the few pillars holding up the games industry, Fortnite, is in fact shaky. Right now we're approaching the end of the financial year for most companies, and that means it's usually when the big publicly listed giants start cutting staff to make their end of year reports look good.
That's right.
Of course, Epic Games are a private company, and in theory, they are one of the most successful companies on the planet.
Alright, so let me see. I think we're also gonna import
This is actually not about AI-driven efficiency. Instead, Epic freely admits they
let me
are
scroll down.
spending costing significantly more than
import sugar from
that the 1,000 layoffs and 500 million
what's it called, the one down here.
Marketing and hiring will balance.
Oh, we can't reach that one, but we can import it from Seville. So we'll probably pay a premium, so don't produce it there.
For just laying it out. He just said, yeah, we don't have as many people playing right now, and we gotta save money. Like, I really do respect that. Somebody that just tells it to me straight.
Publisher, or maybe just
they hired too many people. They did.
Specifically for them, it means that growth and spending are going down because players have got less money, costs have went up, and the total industry player growth just has not increased as people expected. Turns out that as engaging as video games are, well, vertical feed of videos may be more engaging for many people. Now, there are other reasons as well, Epic-specific reasons, and here's what they've said about that. In being the industry's vanguard, we have taken a lot of bullets in a battle which is only in the early days of paying off for ourselves and all developers. Now, what they're referring to there is all the legals.
Where is the trade good for?
And it hit iOS again last year. And at least one of those returns is reportedly.
Where's the trade good for masonry? You know what we can do? We can import furniture.
After 5 years of horse legal crusading for to crowbar open the phone ecosystem. They basically want liberalization of storefronts and payment providers. Of course, specific.
The storefronts, Epic is totally right, by the way. They're completely justified and totally in the right with this.
Okay, no, actually we don't need coal. Or maybe we should get coal imported for roaming our citizens. I don't know if
and it's completely unfair to everybody because they've effectively monopolized the entire market between the two of them, and I think it needs to be regulated. That's what I think.
They can launch their own store.
I see also what he's saying about Apple and their App Store. They 100% have a monopoly, and they don't allow everything on the store. They basically, like, you know.
For them, it's been absolutely
expensive
because all that money they weren't collecting during all that time, you know, could have paid for developers.
Yes,
back
exactly.
in January 2025, Kingston told IGN that they could afford to fight Apple and Google.
And that was this is from 2025 in January.
Oh, this is a way more profitable way of importing, because we have such a small pop that if we import small amounts, it's more profitable for the various goods. So honestly, we might import less some of these bigger numbers, so like this one right here. But yeah, we'll leave it for now.
Let's talk about those cuts. First, you need to know that all this follows the 2023 layoffs, which were 830 employees, about 16% of the company.
Damn. So like they've dropped out 2,000 people then. Holy shit.
The divestment of Bandcamp. I don't think Bandcamp is ever going to save their finances. Now, back then the reasons given were that creator content profit margins weren't high enough, and the company was spending too much, and that 2/3 of costs sat outside of their core development teams. And now...
Yeah, there's probably HR and other types of management roles that don't add any value to a company. I really do think, and this is in 2023, I do really think that Elon buying Twitter, firing 80% of people,
that helped.
And then the product not changing was
it didn't help in everything way, but like it made them realize that they needed to lay off the lazies.
Well, cuts are happening again. So
that's what I think happened.
The peripheral game modes like Rocket Racing, Ballistic, and Festival Battle Stage are all being sunset.
I have family visiting, or well, family was out of town, and then I was working earlier today. I just want to see where they are on the highway. Okay, so I have some time before we're gonna be live for a bit longer. I mean, I'll be live when they get home, but I'm just gonna go down there and greet them and stuff. But I'll be live for a bit, guys. So yeah, let me refresh that and select this. Okay, cool.
So what we see is that experimentation and some degrees of ongoing support are basically over, and even the incoming free-to-play version of Save the World.
All right, there we go. Cool. Let me grab this and see what this is. Free thinkers. Okay, cool. That's good.
They're cutting them loose or
We should build some scriptoriums in our territory. Have it be like an isolated monk island for like Catholic monks. Fucking weird shit, but like, you know. Greenland is a hell of a place. It's a place never green. Ha ha ha. No, but yeah. Let me do some research cues.
For a game monetized like Fortnite, I mean, character art really does seem like it's something that helps the bottom line. And when you think about that, and then see Tim Sweeney posting about how the fired staff are in the quote top 3% of the discipline, you really see how bad this would appear to be. I mean, Sweeney is
yeah, because that means like if they're firing the good people, they're definitely gonna fire the shitty people. But it also could be that they just are like firing people because, you know, AI. They develop it with AI now. That's probably what it is.
And I think that's what probably happened, is that they changed the way they have a process because it wastes money the way they're doing it now. I think that makes sense, and I think it's going to continue, especially as you have like technology, not just AI, but like everything that's able.
Well, AI is a part of it, but yeah, because there's automation things in general other than AI.
A lot of people have a very weird relationship that they think companies should have as employers, where they think that this company should employ you even when the company doesn't get value.
Yeah, that's not their job.
So they think that the company has like a
your job is to like fucking come up with your own way of earning money.
Indefinitely, even though they don't need you or need to make money off of you anymore. Right?
I think this is a
very toxic mindset, and nobody would actually. The issue why I don't like this is because people don't have this standard for themselves.
Yeah, it's a parasite mindset.
You wouldn't continue paying the guy that mows your lawn. Nobody would do this. Nobody would make this decision. So in people's personal lives, they would never make this decision, but they expect every company to make this decision. Why is that? Because
they're parasites.
It's that simple. So again, it's not a principle, it's just greed.
Basic economics are what we've talked about so far, like custom nodes and stuff, only tell you part of the story. Because underneath all of this, there's a question about Fortnite itself.
And then we have some duplicates. Let me kill this. Oh, I said kill. I mean, cut the trigger up, but it said dead, so you know that's why I said kill. You know, parasites, kill them. Blah 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 blah. I'm a villain. He said kill. Oh my god. YouTube, report. I'm in danger.
That's a lot. The exception. People kind of swung between being thrilled at new modes like Blitz Royale and the Simpsons crossover, which was by all accounts loved, but then bored to tears by the drawn-out Star Wars season, fronted by, of course, Gen AI Vader. This stuff doesn't mean that Fortnite is...
I'm gonna be honest, I think Gen AI Vader was probably one of the best things they did. It had more like viral marketing and viral advertising for Fortnite than almost anything else. I think that it was a great idea. Hilarious.
Circana analyst Matt Piscatella points out that in the US last
they got people talking about Fortnite.
55% of players in PlayStation played Fortnite for 16 hours on average, while 31% of Xbox players played it for 15 hours. That's a lot of people playing. I mean, a third of the install base is playing this game.
That's a lot.
Really is a worrying
cool.
thing. I mean,
I don't know what we're gonna do now to get our income up.
Not really financially sustainable. Oh dear, is this entire thing built in sand? In a way,
I think that what it's built on is it's built on the projection of growth. And so once a company, because company, what they do is they overhire because they plan for 20% growth years. But whenever they,
I think we're gonna cancel all the non-profitable trade routes,
doesn't mean that the company is
and then we'll reassess them at the end of
it just means that
1340.
Every product reaches market maturity, whether it's Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, World of Warcraft, or anything.
Yeah, it's just all products have a shelf life basically.
And when it hits that point, it doesn't mean that the product has failed. It means that it's just simply stopped growing its user base because it's hit market saturation. This is the most normal, reasonable, common sense thing to happen. So whenever you have companies that are building for being 20% larger year after year,
yeah, and then that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Then you have to recalibrate the size of your company.
You gotta figure out what you're gonna do next.
Your company, it's like basically people that buy houses that have like 8 bedrooms or 5 bedrooms, and it's just a man and a woman. Well, they're not buying that house for themselves. They're buying that house because they're gonna have kids, and the kids are gonna move into those apartments, right? Or not apartments, into those.
That's basically what it is.
After their kids move out, many parents decide to move.
So what the fuck is this?
So, but it's about planning for the future. You see what my point is?
You see, the problem
Does that make sense?
last February's averages were 21 and 19 hours. So,
let me set our laws or government reforms.
Losing 4 to 5 hours per player per month is a serious hit to your revenue. And in Epic's year in review, they said the total
You can do harbor administration for the naval governors, progress towards naval and monthly development. Then I set this up just a second ago, but they just had an update, so I don't really know what the update was. But
you can't turn
feudal mercenary contracts.
Whenever you see something on the horizon, you have to make a decision today
the one for artists.
That will allow you to avoid
actually, we did noble navy
in 2 years.
So basically all the naval ones, and then
I think it makes a lot of sense,
ones for centralization and.
But
I don't think we did this one. We did
crossovers were actually loved, like the
innovative this one, featuring arts.
Even I saw this a bit more like Roblox. That's because on top of existing
Embellish Great Works of Faith, we did that.
Island servers could start selling microtransactions paid for in premium currency. Now, it was a 100% revenue split for the first month.
We're gonna do Papal Emissary so we can get Saint.
February. Seems like a good way to make money, but it just didn't move the needle.
Yeah, powerful diocese. We can get
currency from battle passes being eliminated.
because we want to produce books, right? So we want to have as many clergy as possible.
Especially given a perceived drop in
Or not as many as possible because we have low pop, but we want to be able to have a decent number.
people saying, we hiked the prices, you guys should have really paid attention to that and actually jumped on top of it and just bought loads of shit so that you could protect our staff. Obviously, no one really thinks that. I don't think Tim Sweeney thinks that. These layoffs are not the fault of players, but I think they're also not.
Another big problem that I think Fortnite has
there we go.
is that the game has a massive skill gap. And the big difference between Fortnite and Roblox is that Fortnite is defined by a competitive game that is challenging, that people can be good at. Roblox, you can't really be good at Roblox. Because of that,
Peasant food consumption, because we have minimal food production.
like if you're a brain dead 5-year-old, it's going to be hard for you to do anything
Brain
in
rot
Fortnite because you're just going to get killed instantly every single time. So you might play the game because it's really
Elite
popular,
Council, we're gonna go
but
there.
you're getting a fulfilling experience whenever you're just getting
Yeah, see, this is why I can't play those kind of like shooter games. Like, it's not even that I can't like, I'm not good at them. I am good at them, especially like stuff like Arma where it's a huge map. But I need a game to be like mentally stimulating. That's why I like Vic 3, this game, and a bunch of other games like this. Even Civ 7 and Civ 6 and all that wasn't really mentally stimulating enough. Just kind of like, yeah.
Fortnite is a complex game. There's a lot to it, and for an 8-year-old, a lot of 8-year-olds, it's going to be easier for them to understand the simplicity and the just brain dead nature of Roblox versus Fortnite. I think that's a big reason.
Default on developers either. You see, Fortnite was always going to stop making as much money as it has been. Actually, it's a decade old. It's an old game. Soon they will be calling Fortnite a game. Yeah, until we all feel old. No,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Wow.
Fortnite did to prepare for this eventuality, and the answer starts with what was happening behind the scenes months before this announcement. So we spoke to a source who worked
And then let's go on means of production.
on Fortnite.
We'll do no labor on Sunday just for happiness.
We just haven't been able to see it. Stretching as far back as October, contract staff levels have been cut.
Food consumption, that's a good thing. And traditional economy, we know we don't want that.
So, from our sources' perspective,
subjects, that's a good thing.
Staff numbers have absolutely dropped.
Surprise.
We had a couple on here. Okay, we don't need that. Oh, why the fuck are the nobles so pissed off? I mean, the nobles, like, they have as many privileges as they can have. What the fuck, bro? Come on. Stupid nobles. Yeah, whatever. Alright, there we go. Nice.
Okay, systemic impacts. So 1,000 more developers across the globe will join the thousands already.
Alright, what we're doing?
Each of those former employees will have a wealth of experience, but obviously finding new roles in 2026 is incredibly difficult, especially because they're now all competing with each other.
You know what we could do? We could do money lending.
Like, I think that a lot of the people that are hired to make these games are just garbage at making games. That's a big fucking.
That is why.
I think there's a huge component of that too, where a lot of these people are not very talented. They don't really know what they're doing, and they make bad
Millennials.
Like, and I think that companies have, like, have you guys ever watched one of those like videos where it's like somebody that goes through their day
lazy
working at some tech company, and all they do is sit in
Hi,
meetings all
this
day,
is what I do in my day in the life of living at Google. I sleep in the pod, I sleep in the office, I sleep in the office pod, and I get a free coffee. Hooray!
Yeah, right, shut the fuck up.
Whenever you create a bunch of incentives to, you know,
Lazy motherfuckers. I swear, anyone who works at a company like that and is not, like, I don't know, like, I don't make a ton of money. I mean, I make good money, right? But like, when you're self-employed, you realize how hard you have to work to get ahead. Not get ahead, because I'm fine off. I do well, but like, well, I say that as my room's a fucking mess, but it's just because I don't have time to clean it up right now, or I didn't have time when I woke up. Just woke up and went downstairs, did my trading. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that like people who work in corporate jobs where they're like salary serfs, you know what I mean? Not serfs, but like salary dumbasses who just don't, you know, they don't like do anything. So let me move this harder. You can see it. Okay, there we go. But yeah, people who work salary I find are really lazy and really arrogant most of the time. They're especially arrogant if they work for salary and they work for the government. Not to be like an arrogant piece of shit, but they are like a rude piece of shit, but whatever. But those are the people I like the least out of all people in the world.
And they're openly admitting that they're not making enough money. Here, it doesn't
They're really rude too most of the time. Arrogant and rude. It's the worst combination.
Sitting in the real engine, and make the numbers work. Well, what does that tell every investor evaluating new deals in the gaming industry right now?
I personally don't agree with this analysis. I think that Epic, just like every other video game company, will reach its maturity level eventually, and that growth will eventually stop. Now, just because their growth has a number of zeros behind it that other companies don't have, doesn't mean that it's not still subservient to the same baseline market forces that every other company is accountable to. So whenever Epic experiences this, I don't think this is really an indicator that like video games are failing or like live service is dying. I think that it's just a reality that eventually all good things maybe don't come to an end, but they stop continuing to make more and more and more money.
So did I just add an admiral or something, or is it like actually let me automate this other bit of trade.
Maybe the sorts of projects many of those groups were into funding, the big, exciting live services that were just promised.
Alright.
Stable revenue month after month after month, year after year, not the traditional game revenue of, you know, in 3 years we'll have a game done and maybe it'll make a lot of money, but maybe it won't. Who knows? It's art. No, there's a reason why.
It's art.
Fund live services. When they work, live services generate revenue in a way that is absolutely fantastic for a corporation. So when we see a story like this one, there's a real risk of making a difficult funding situation far worse at the exact moment.
Magnus the Gay.
Maybe if your job, if your focus
Nose
is creating a forever game,
massive nose Magnus.
Out slop content to get people to play it regularly.
Slop!
Maybe that's that's not a good business model. Maybe that business model is bad, and maybe the market is saying that we don't want that as much as you think you do. I think that's a good thing.
Do need investment most. The thing is, I'm certain that it to be this way. So far, while many directors in Fortnite are getting yoked out we haven't seen anyone from the executive team take it. Of course, those people are the key decision makers here. Here, what we see is that the people making Fortnite have been making Fortnite, but the people leading Epic, well, they've been using Fortnite to fund endless dream projects, making the game a platform for creators, deals with Unity, our games run in Fortnite, deals with Disney to make it the future of marketing. 3 years ago, they overextended and they had to cut back. Now, 1,000 people are losing their jobs because the same leadership basically made the same bet again and lost again.
That's what happens.
Double down, Gamba Rot.
There don't seem to be any consequences for them. And look, this isn't an Epic Games problem. This is absolutely everywhere. It's just about all of the big top companies with huge teams placing these huge bets and then really finding an awful win rate for those bets. So I think this might mean it's time for us to reevaluate where this industry's going, what sort of games it's actually focusing on, because it does not seem to be sustainable. The AA scale game...
I think that definitely you have a lot of these live service games that are not sustainable. And I think that especially the ones that are made by big companies, like recently we had the Marathon release, we had before that High Guard, you obviously had Concord, you've had other games that have released since then, like New World is an example of this, is that these big companies try to push out a live service game and they invest so much into it that they can't afford to fail.
Jeff.
And even more than that,
My name is
it's
Jeff.
not that they can't afford
Jeff
to fail,
Bezos.
it's that they can't afford to not succeed on a massive level. Like, Marathon would be fine if it made the same money that Arc Raiders did. If it was bringing in the same player base that Arc Raiders brought in. But it's not. And I think that's the issue, is that whenever you set your sights for, you know, this massive, you know, astronomical top 10 on the Steam most played list, and then your game is just simply a mild success for a period of time, like Marathon seems to be a mild success. It's not great. It's a 6 out of 10. But whenever you're betting,
I think we're just gonna massively build a bunch of settlements. So I guess that's our goal for now.
It's like really hard to hit. Like rolling a 17 might not be enough. You might need an 18 to hit them all. So even if it's something or a monster, right? I mean, that's how it works. So I think the same thing happened with Ubisoft.
We need more citizens here. So we need, for this, we need required production method is stone, wood,
awful. It wasn't a total failure.
Wild game.
I guess kind of well, right? I mean, it was basically a video game. And it was a mid game, but like it was a little bit above mid. It had nice graphics and there was, you know, a progression system to it, and you know, people thought it was okay, and it sold I think maybe a couple million copies. But it was like a 6. I'd say again, it was a 6 out of 10 game. But after $400 million are invested, can you afford a 6? Because that had to be their silver bullet. That had to be their, you know, their home run. That had to be the one game that averages out all of the previous commercial failures. So when you have a video game like that you plan on being a 9 and it only is a 6, well then you've got to recalibrate. And I think that's what's happened, is that a lot of these studios are now recalibrating. And another big issue is that there are also overseas pressures as well. So for example, it becomes a lot harder to make a video game, a fantasy video game, and compete whenever you have Chinese developers making games like Where Winds Meet, or you have Korean developers making games like Crimson Desert. So why is it that, for example, you know, they can make these games that are these expansive, you know, massive open world, you know, with Where Winds Meet, an example, is better. You know, it's a live service even. Why are they able to do it, but Western devs are not able to do it? Well, they have, you know, they can go to market at a cheaper rate because obviously the cost of doing business over there is less. They're getting support from the government, in China at least. On top of that also, and you're going to see this happen also with Middle Eastern games too. I think the Middle East is going to start developing games they're not
Probably
even
better.
developing, they're buying games, they're buying companies, but I think you're going to continue to see that happen.
But it's not going to be all politically correct. And I don't know. Like, it's not that I like hate that shit, but I do. But like, it's more that it makes the game not fun. You know, when you get politics and stupid.
Talking about the process of points of privilege and everything, the game developers, a lot of them think like that. They do, and they have the same bureaucratic, waste of time, narcissistic, pathological, useless.
What do we need to build? What was the final thing we need to build? Was it cloth or was it wool? I think it's wool.
They infinitely create infinitely more meetings.
Okay, it's
just
wool.
Waste everybody's time and money.
So let's import some wool.
That has to stop. You know, like the buck stops eventually, and when it does, that's the end of it. They don't get anything done. Yes, they basically get nothing done. Like, that's fundamentally what it is. And
alright, let me go here.
World of Warcraft, you see this with a lot of
scroll down to the bottom. There's a link to the bottom. Yeah, it is.
And so when you invite a bunch of people into an organization,
Bordeaux, London,
that is
London, that's my supply.
to a creative process,
Okay, there we go.
to delivering a product to market, big surprise, you're going to have a failed product. And that's why they're being outperformed by such
YouTube is not receiving enough video. I don't know why that is.
Other European developers like Sandfall that made Expedition 33, and especially by developers that are in China and Korea. Like, those guys are just blowing them out of the fucking water. And it's because they're able to bring a product to market for a cheaper cost with a more acute.
Alright, let's build some
And them being able to do that has caused them to completely control the
settlements or whatever they're called.
And look at, for example, gacha games. They're totally dominant. They're massive. Like, that's it. They own the market. And it's only going to continue to become more the case. Like, this isn't a problem that's going to improve. It will continue to get worse.
That's why live services have basically eaten the top, and in trying to outspend and outmake Fortnite, the industry's done untold damage to itself, probably incalculable damage to itself. It's a total disaster, but in my view, it's not a surprising one. For a long time, we have not been paying money for video games. For a long time, we've been paying money for upcharges within video games. And I have a little feeling that the further the economics get away from being driven by developers making content, the worse things will be. Because why have a healthy stable of appropriately scoped games, all targeting diverse audiences who are going to get a game made for them? Why have that when you can just make huge mono games to target every human on the planet? Doesn't really make sense, does it?
Because they don't work. And also, there's a problem where you can't build an ecosystem. Like, for example, like in a dinosaur ecosystem, there can only be so many T-Rexes. There can only be so many Brontosauruses.
Carrying capacity, yeah.
So many blue whales in the ocean right now.
So he's talking, this concept he's talking about is
ecosystem like that
carrying capacity.
A large number of these apex predator or massive, drains on that ecosystem. Right? That's it. And so you have to have those smaller games. And you can't have every company can't make their forever mono game and get the same feedback and the same type of returns that the first people that did it did. Because obviously, they don't have the first mover advantage, and on top of that, they don't.
Hey Siri, when did the Giants play?
I have a mindset. This is my mindset. I only do dailies in one game. I might play multiple live service games at a time, but I only do one set of dailies. And that's a way for me to prevent myself from being on the infinity treadmill. I'm okay with dailies in a game, but the reality is that each single video game has an ecosystem.
I'm just gonna ask Sweden for money.
Or
maybe Nordic.
As somebody who likes to play different games, that's not feasible. And I think that
or maybe we'll farm these guys. Or we'll probably farm the guys for money, like Iberians and the Continentals. So we'll improve with France.
Yes, right now it's 1-2 ways. That's the name I play. I haven't played since Crimson Desert.
We'll talk about that soon, but suffice to say, stuff is not looking good. But do you know who has got their job back in a really funny way? The Subnautica guys.
Oh yeah!
Daftdon CEO who basically said, "Hello there, ChatGPT. I would like to get out of a $250 million contract. Please."
Yeah, I dropped it.
That was a bad idea, and you can learn all about it in the next video.
Yeah, I dropped Infield. I stopped playing it because the game just kind of, it just drug on. And I felt like there was no real reason, like, there's no reason for me to keep playing. Like, I mean, I beat the game. Dailies are chores. Well, I unlocked everything. I have all the money. Infield got boring. The reason why it got boring is because the combat's bad. That's the reason why it's boring. If it had Wuthering Waves combat or Dragon's Dogma combat, it would be amazing. But it's literally, you can play Arknight's Infield with a garage door. There's so little depth to the game that it's just fucking boring.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I might want to play as Iceland instead sometime, but I will keep playing this campaign, see if we can get ahead, get our economy out of the shitter.
They're a joke. They only do like 2 mechanics. Like, what the fuck? Compare that to Tempest Nephis in like Wuthering Waves. That is a release boss, or Crownless that was a release boss, or I think Dreamless or something like that. That was also a release boss. It is not even in the same fucking universe. The other games are just so much better. And
I wonder if we can.
I mean, we're talking
Actually, hold on.
Gacha games, right? But I think that's the
Let me,
issue. And I think gacha
you know what?
games
I
are
think
reaching
if we
and I think that right now, like Genshin Impact came out, it was a massive
Oh, you know what?
success.
We need to build
I'll link you
masonry,
guys this video. Make sure to give it a like.
or
I will
produce
go your
masonry in our
content
markets.
video
That's
forever.
why
I
our
totally agree
build
with
costs are so high. So if we build a mason,
But I'm not a big boss enjoyer. The lack of content was the killer. Well, yes, but the bosses are content. But I see what you're saying too. Like, you're not wrong about that. But the main concern that I think that a lot of these games have now
I guess we just really need
Silver Palace come out, Neverness to Everness come out, Anata come out.
settlements, right?
Be a gacha game now.
It doesn't require. I
I
don't
think
think
there's
it,
one
oh
other
yeah, it
game
does
that's coming
require
out that's also
masonry.
another gacha game.
How do
That's like a
I
character
import
select type
masonry?
game.
Like, where can I
There
import
is
masonry?
only
Can I
so
not do that
much
anymore?
space
I
in
remember
the
you used to be able to
ecosystem
do that.
until they reach market saturation, where everybody that wants to play an anime waifu collector game is already doing it. They're already Azure Permelia. That's the other one. Yes. Like they're already playing one of these. So how are you going to get somebody to move away and to play your game? And I think the reality is that every single time a new one of these comes out, people will go and try it out. But only, I think a very, very small subset of people are actually playing multiple gacha games at the same time. Like, I think that if you play more than 2 games,
Oh, there
you're
we go.
basically in like the 9th circle of hell. Like, you're doing dailies. It's just, oh my god, you're like trying to keep up with multiple banners. Like, holy fuck, what a piece of shit. Terrible experience. So it's exhausting. It is. Like, I could never even imagine that, right? And, haha, I'm playing 3. I don't know about haha. That's not what I would say. But, yeah, sure. Infield's actually really ever played gacha. Yeah, I think that really, I mean, like, Infield is a great game, but it doesn't have the complexity and the combat. The combat's not fulfilling enough for me to want to keep playing it. It's just not. It's kind of a mediocre game, really. And, you know, it could be worse, or overall, that's kind of the way I feel about it. Honkai Star Rail's and Wuthering Waves are best. Honkai Star Rail is very good, but I feel like it's kind of like that game also. And another big issue is that gacha games run into an entropy point. And what I mean by that is that you can only release your first goth, dommy, mommy, waifu
What the fuck?
time. So after you already released that style of character, you can only release your first hot, big titty redhead character once. And then after that happens, you're over. Like, that's it. It's done. And so, Star Savior replaced Honkai Star Rail for me? Yeah, well, what my point is that, like, you add in, you have so many characters that the novelty of bringing in a
Okay, let me
style of
remove
character
that
is diminished
filter.
by with that. You see kind of, right? So, like, you're kind of meeting people's desires or meeting what people's demand already, so they already have a character like that. Like,
I need to import more stuff for buildments. So let me, build it. This is the only one that's losing us right now, so that's fine. We'll,
yeah, you probably get all 10, but my point is that you get more of the first one probably than the second. Now, it might not be a reality for everyone. will see a diminishing returns. You see what my point is? That's where I'm at. Okay, here we go. You guys ready to listen to this?
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
Man. Weirdo. What a fucking retard. Oh my god.
So it sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
You're white supremacist.
There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over in the inside of these towns.
There's like white, wait, what?
Entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over.
Of course.
In their inside of these towns like Minneapolis, where they can go and go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable. And let this stuff happen, and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset, and I'm fully upset.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Have a governor who's actually.
If they see and dodge this by throwing away buzzwords, yeah, like it's white supremacy that people want.
It's always sad, dude.
Yeah, sure, man.
Working for them, but he's actually working against them.
Like half the time I'm hesitant to like tell people like the games I play, cause like just because like you know how like EU4 and EU5 and especially the older Paradox games like CK2 and all that, and like all those games like have like the historical element of like they're like kind of politically incorrect, but who cares, it's like it's just a game. But then like people who don't know shit about history, or they're like just fucking stupid, would get like butthurt, you know what I mean? Anyway.
You work for the Somalians.
And so if there's not something that's happened, people are going to be very frustrated. And so if President Trump's watching this, it's time to really get down to nitty-gritty and to make a difference in this place of Minnesota that is pretty much like Somaliland right now.
Yep.
We're a state of immigrants that values that. We have more refugees per capita than any other state.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's not just morally a good thing.
It's not a
No, it's not.
Why is it a morally good thing to have a bunch of refugees?
Fucking like
Who decided
I don't even like see the thing is I don't even care about like the refugees. I'm not against them. But like when you don't integrate them and they don't integrate into the I don't know.
That don't speak English.
It just
That's amazing. Thank God.
I hold nothing against these people, but like people like this are the problem. Like this little fucking
change or
I
something
don't know,
like
I can't.
that. They say it's like a
His mouth isn't showing up when I'm highlighting this guy, but this bald old fat fuck.
He's literally just
It's
he's
like,
saying it right out there.
You can see out in Worthington when I'm there, you see 50 languages spoken in the school, and you see...
How is that a good thing? 50
It just makes it
languages
harder for
was
the
a
teachers.
punishment from God in the Old Testament for people building the Tower of Babel too high to get to heaven. You're literally looking at an Old Testament punishment from a vengeful God on a fallen world, and you're saying that it's a good thing. Is this fat, bald retard
Why can I
serious?
see all these non-existent goods in our market? Is that a bug or
languages?
bug?
That sounds like chaos. Can you imagine
Anyway.
that?
Every storefront filled with different types of foods, different types of businesses. That
I love how this is
Every
the prime
storefront
reason
filled.
why Americans are okay with immigration, because of food. I can see, Tim, that's the
You
reason
fat
why
fuck.
you want the immigrants, is so they can make you
Triple
more
chin,
food.
triple duck chin,
Absolutely. I
triple
believe
like turkey chin.
are happening. Minnesota needs to continue to do that.
Turkey chin,
The office of
motherfucker.
governor can set the tone on that. We're going to continue to need to diversify. We're going to have to put policies in place that make sure we're attracting teachers of color so that...
Why would you do...
No,
See, this
they're
kind
probably...
of stuff, like, this is the kind of stuff that as a white person, you should never go through. This person is trying to systematically disenfranchise
get you out of a job.
And take you away.
They're taking our jobs!
He doesn't want American diversity. Because the reason why, so here's the reason, I will explain the actual reason why. The real reason why it happens is because white people don't vote based off of this. And I think that we should start voting like this. I think that we should. The moment that any of these people talk about adding in any sort of systematic advantage, any sort of beneficiary program, anything to benefit a person who is a random-ass fucking immigrant, and they're saying, yeah, we need to bring these people in here, why should I vote for a candidate that wants to systematically disenfranchise me? Absolutely. Then any self-respecting white person should never vote for this. It is insane. If they want to, and if the problem is that there are so many white people that are consumed
Cucks, basically.
because of Hitler, because of slavery, because of
Shit happened in the past way worse than that.
but they have one thing in common.
Well, maybe not worse, you know, but
So whenever I have to hear that, oh my god, this is some terrible,
not my fucking problem.
and so now I have to live my whole life, you know, basically, you know, a step behind where these other people do.
Dude, this dude has Tim Wall's guy has like a fucking triple butt chin, like his nutsack chin, Peter Griffin.
By a system, that way we can have more teachers that are a different skin color than me, that are coming over from another fucking country so they can replace me and my jobs. Absolutely fucking not. And I think that everybody should be making this decision. Why would I ever...
I wonder if there's anything we can enable.
They'll just claim white tears. Claim it all you want. I don't still think I call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it being
So where?
racist, call it a Nazi, call it whatever you want. I'm still not going to vote for it. It doesn't matter what word you want. Who gives a shit about the word? So yes, and this is the problem. It's the white people who have. I think that really it's the people who really care. I think that's the main reason. They just kind of let this stuff happen.
Yeah, looks like that's all that matters. Identity politics. Kick them all out. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking get rid of them all.
I don't want to deal with this. Get rid of every single one of these people that are net negative taxpayers need to be sent back to their country.
Honestly, you could do that to the ones. I feel like they should. You know, you guys know how debt slavery was a thing in Vic 3. Bring that shit back. And honestly, like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe not, but
Getting a job worse. It makes going to the emergency room worse. It makes
I think it would
doing
be
any sort of, like,
fitting
any
because
sort
you
of
know,
federal system, it makes it worse. These people
I don't know. It's
massively
fucked up, but you know how it
jam up
is.
the system because they're filing fake shit. They're filing things wrong. They're not actually, you know.
I feel like if you go below a certain, like, not net worth, because that it can be like misconstrued, but like if you go below a certain contribution level of karma or whatever to society, you should like be required to like go to prison and like repay your debt that way. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it lowers wages as well. It does. And the only, and I think this is really important to keep in mind, is that the only people that truly benefit from mass migration and bringing in these third world immigrants that are net negative taxpayers and are basically parasites on the American taxpayer, the true people who benefit from that are the top 1%. The top 1% are totally insulated from any of these bad things. Like, for
cool,
me,
got this at the 96%.
I'm a rich guy, I've got a lot of money. My life will, unless one of them runs me over with a car because they got a free driver's license without having to take a test, which that happens too. But let's assume that doesn't happen. If one of these people, you know, I'm never going to have to deal with these people, basically. I'm never going to have to worry about it. I'm never going to have to be like, oh my God, like this is some kind of massive issue. Because I'm never going to have to see them. I don't have to see them. I don't have to deal with them. And so the consequences of illegal immigration for me are zero. It never affects me. It doesn't, like, it's not going to affect my job. Like, if anything, illegal immigration is good for me because it means that the stocks that I own and the investments that I have, these companies are indirectly or directly benefiting from illegal immigration, and I make more money because of that. My stock goes up. So really, and maybe these people are doing like menial tasks, like, you know, a lot of them obviously do like, you know, fucking home cleaning,
or
and they do like gardening work and construction and landscaping, because these are easy physical jobs that require relatively no skill. Construction requires a lot of skill, but being directed by somebody for doing more menial things doesn't necessarily, like mowing
trading expenses.
So the fact is,
I think we're only gonna hold
either
on.
way, my point is that that's the main thing that people like
Stop
that.
recording
150
that.
subs. Holy shit, thank you, man. I appreciate that, guys. Never gift if you don't have, if you can't afford it or anything like that, never feel like you guys got a gift, all right? I'm totally fine, completely financially stable, I'm okay. But I really do appreciate it. Yeah, another 150. Holy shit, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, make sure, hopefully it's not stolen credit card, right? I'll tell you that, hopefully it's not one of those. So yeah, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so yeah, thank you very much. Shout out in the chat. W's in the chat for Dinky. Yeah, thank you very much, man. And so
we're gonna go here.
That is the main issue more than anything else. And so really, if you have those people that are doing this, they're the ones that
disable migration and do rebel crackdown.
That truly benefit from this mass migration. Nobody else benefits at all.
As well as other students. We are doing it in Minnesota. We're a state of immigrants that...
Yeah, white people need to stop voting for people that are going to disenfranchise them and their children.
It's not, the thing is, it's not most, like, it's like rich white women is the only people who do this. And like cuck white men.
It's like a generational hereditary cucking that not only are you putting
cuck old white men.
You're also signing your kids up to be cucked by this for their whole life as well.
Yeah.
Isn't that embarrassing? It's actually evil. It is. It absolutely is. And I think that there needs to be more social pressure against people that do that. It's straight up racist. Yeah, it's straight up racist, and you have so many white people that have been taught to hate themselves that they think that they're not being racist by hating themselves. How does immigration make your stock go up? Well,
it does.
So
because there's more workers.
I
know that too. I mean, like,
because they exploit and utilize their labor, and they undercut American wages.
Because it makes wages go down basically, and then
cheaper products and go to market and make more money and make more.
Our stocks are like,
so when instead of
you know, you get a better deal
on something, you're making $4 on something. That basically
stocks aren't cheaper,
through
but
the pipeline makes the company make more money. It's pretty simple. Like,
you guys can hear the video I'm watching, right?
Exactly. The company saves tons of money on illegals.
Let me go on to YouTube and do things.
Here's the thing: is that, like, let's say an illegal and you are getting paid the same amount of money, okay? And you do twice as good a job as that illegal. Like, you're a way better worker than they are. You still, the employee doesn't have to worry about. They don't have to worry about workers' comp. They don't have to worry about health insurance. They don't have to worry about Social Security. They don't have to worry about, you know, dealing with, like, in a lot of other payroll things. They don't have to worry about liability. They don't have to worry about any of this stuff. So all of the extra things and extra costs of an employee, because this is one of the things that a lot of people that don't understand business are confused about, because I think they just don't understand it or know it. But the main thing that they're confused about and don't understand is the fact that a lot of these times, these businesses, you're not just paying them the money, like their payroll, right? The cost of a business and the cost of, like, the cost of an employee is not simply their payroll. There is like an entire apparatus that maintains that employee's employment. And whether that is managers, other payments, payment processors. Do you guys know, like, for a lot of the payroll systems and businesses, you have to pay monthly to access to payroll systems. So basically, they're kind of like Adobe Photoshop, and these are for professional licenses for different types of payroll accounting systems. It's extremely common. So you're adding in all this stuff, accounting talk. No, I'm being serious, right? And like all of this comes together, insurance, liability, benefits, 401k, fucking social security, everything, right? There's so much of this. I don't know if this is a photo shoot or not. My expectations for this are extremely low. But Homeland Security Investigations, ICE, are on the ground in Minneapolis right now conducting a massive investigation on child care and other rampant fraud. More is coming.
Why does this guy think they're gonna talk to him?
Have it in. I don't think they have it.
Wait, what the fuck is this?
I believe it when I see it. I believe it, yeah, I believe it when I see it. They're not. I don't want another photo shoot and another video and another Pokemon compilation. I want them in the Pokedex. I don't want the theme song, I want the end song. You know, but cat's out of the bag, man. Not really. Looks staged as fuck. I don't know. And, yeah, it's not American voting without identification seems incredibly retarded. Anybody who can't get identification to vote is a fucking retard and they should never vote. Straight up. Like, if
Yeah, some people shouldn't vote, I'm gonna be honest.
you can't figure out how to get an ID, you're gonna be dead anyway pretty soon. I don't
They're
want you
gonna
making
vote
decisions.
some stupid
That's it.
person in.
Now, if you're 85 and you can get an ID, go ahead. But like, if you're too fucking stupid and decrepit to get an ID, I don't want you.
How do I do this? How do I sign into the DMV, Sonny? How do I sign into the DMV? I don't know how to do this.
Human services help
Shut the
you.
fuck up.
There are social workers that can come out and do this. This is not even. It's not even something I would even for.
Alright guys, I'm gonna take a break, grab some food, and then I'm be back up here in a bit. But family member just got home, gonna say hi to them real quick, and
between people who can't
give me a
get
quick
an
second,
ID
guys.
and people
who are retarded. I guarantee you that's what he's gonna say. Yeah.
fucking retarded. Okay, this is the Venn diagram. All right. Well, do you guys see the? You guys see the problem here? This is somebody from Somalia. Here we go.
That's somebody. Okay, well then how come I probably have more money than you, stupid scammer fuck?
Alright. I guess I don't have a wife.
Alright, I'll be right back, guys. Peace out.
Of course we have. Yeah.
Hey. What's up?
They don't have
Hold
no
on.
money.
Yes.
No.
That's the whole. Yes, duh. That's the whole point, dumbass. What do you mean?
see any children.
So there are 80 kids in there?
There's 80 kids. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Oh, they're gonna be after school. That's what it is.
DHS declined an interview, but in a statement acknowledged Quality Learning Center was put on a conditional license because of its poor safety record.
Absolutely insane that we are paying for these parasites to come over here and siphon our fucking money, and then we're paying for them to have kids, and we have to pay for their fucking kids. Isn't this ridiculous? We have American citizens here that have been citizens, their family's been here for 300 fucking years, and they're paying out the ass for childcare. They're in poverty because of childcare. Meanwhile, these people are coming over and they're scamming it and getting it basically for free. It's insane. Should Minnesota taxpayers be reimbursed for this? Realistically, that's not what's going to happen. There's no money in that, bro? I thought you were smarter. There's no money in this? Well, why is it happening?
But it still received nearly $8 million in taxpayers' money since 2019. Its conditional status removed in 2024.
I bet. And so there it is. Yeah, what an idiot. The people that argue with this are just, they're so dumb. Oh, here's another one. This is a news report from 2018.
Agencies closed Baraka Child Care Center yesterday morning.
Baraka Child Center.
Due to search warrant. It's one of 10 being investigated for financing. Agencies closed Baraka Child Care Center yesterday morning while investigators executed a search warrant. It's one of 10 being investigated for financial misconduct of the state's child care assistance program. WCCO's Jennifer Mayerly shares where that money would have gone instead.
Nearly 2,400 kids are on the waiting list for Minnesota's Child Care Assistance Program. It helps low-income families pay for child care.
Can you believe this? We're importing these people over so they can be low income so we can pay for their kids. It's so ridiculous, I can't even believe it.
Daycares are given money per child. But right now,
you can see the incentive here.
Agencies are investigating financial
so
fraud
obvious, I hate
at 10 different centers, including Baraka Child Care Center in Minneapolis.
Totally fraudulent operators. And stealing money. And so high time. And they should crack down on more.
At this point, is the Regional Child Care Organization in Minnesota do a census? This is ridiculous. Not only do they need to do that, but what do you think the probability is that there aren't a dozen other social systems that these people are also exploiting? Like, I would say the probability of that is 100%. This is for sure happening, guaranteed 100% happening. Absolutely.
Part of the investigation, the BCA and Secret Service spent hours at this home in Heights, combing through it and collecting evidence. A relative told WCCO.
They are good family to work hard, that's all.
The raid at Baraka focuses on fraudulent billing of the state assistance program. A child care provider investigations unit formed in 2014 to investigate similar cases has already closed 12 child care centers.
So the latest child care scam has been to have 100 people enrolled, 100 kids enrolled in your program, have 10 show up, bill for the 100.
That happened in September.
That's exactly what they said in the video. Yeah, it's all yeah, this is 7 years ago this happened.
Several cases that resulted in a conviction. In one, the criminal complaint reveals investigators set up cameras to capture kids who entered and exited. Over a 2-week period in 2014, the daycare billed for 950 children who did not attend the center.
Absolute fraud. And you know what people do on Twitter is they try to say, oh, well, you are just trying to record kids like you're Epstein or something like this. Like the level of just totally blatant manipulation and lying. It's really almost shocking that somebody would even be willing to do that.
Resulting in $51,000 of fraud just for that time period.
There are people with severe needs that we can't take care of.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely. That's the entire point. There is not infinite money. Are people actually defending this? There is a group of people defending this. I wouldn't say large group. I don't think there's a large group of people defending this, but I think that there is enough of a group defending this that, like, as I the goal for us to do is to make it look so unpopular and so problematic to defend this that the normies will be afraid to defend it, even if it might make them feel good. You have to create a culture where people like this that are trying to like engage in such obvious fraud, dishonesty, and lying, you have to make them afraid. You have to make them afraid, and the way that you do that is you push back against it whenever I mean, I don't agree with actual harassment, right? But disagree with them, explain that they're wrong, etc. Because once these people realize that they are the minority, and they're a fractional, tiny minority, a lot of their passive support from, you know, people that think that they're just following social compliance by being okay with this will go away. So the way that you have to change that thing is you have to change the consensus. And it's not about even changing the consensus, because we don't need to do that. The consensus is already on our side. We have to change the perception of the consensus. And the way that you do that is you mobilize, you're vocal, you push back against this stuff, and you demonize and vilify everybody that's supporting it. That's what you do. Because they are demons, they're selling you out, they're selling out your country, they're scamming you, they're scamming your family, they're scamming everybody, they're traitors. That's it. Cultural shift is the quickest method of change. Yes, you totally, what's the pro-fraud argument? That he shouldn't, that he's not a real journalist, that he shouldn't, he was trying to record kids because he's a weirdo, and that it was on Christmas break. At what point does it need to make them happen for feel good helping actual Americans? You just have to create a social system where they feel good about it. These people are very simple animals. The moment that they get to feel good about doing something, then they'll just do it. These people will be supporting Hitler and turning in Jews in the 1940s. Okay? Like, this isn't like a... These people would be... They'd be catching runaway slaves and bringing them to your local fucking, you know, sheriff so they can be sent back down to Alabama. They're not... These are not these morally good people that would have been helping Harriet Tubman on the Underground Railroad. They would have been helping capture the slaves. That's it. So... all you need to do is change the social structure. That's all you have to do. And everything else will fall into place. How the fuck do you ignore fraud this rampant for 8 fucking years? Because they're afraid of going after it because it's called because it's racist. That's the reason why.
That money goes off the bat.
It's pretty simple.
Investigators haven't released any details about what was found in yesterday's raid. The Office of the Inspector General said it will continue to investigate fraud in the program, saying child care fraud is especially egregious because in addition to exploiting taxpayer money, it harms the families and children.
Whatever happened to that?
Is intended to help.
Yeah, you think Somalians are problems? It's to sound like people that have 10,000 a year? No, I think that you're right. Like, the Somalians, I don't really view that. Oh, here we go. Here's somebody.
So these were funds that were meant to go to help feed hungry people during the COVID pandemic, to help keep people in their homes who are at risk of homelessness. So first of all, if there is fraud there, that should be fully investigated, no matter.
No. The problem is that, and this is what a Karen does. A Karen will always cling to bureaucratic institutions of obfuscation to hide and deflect accountability. They're hiding inside of an infinite Russian nesting doll of layers of red. expectations, systems, quotas, and everything. The reason why they do this is so nobody can ever really be held to a fault. These people do not need to investigate this. If that would have worked, it would have worked 20 years ago when this started.
Or where it is, whether it's in a Democratic-led state, Republican-led.
And also the investigations are used so they can basically kind of pause any sort of immediate action that's taken too. So they effectively, this is the same thing that people accuse the Trump administration, is they said that, well, they're just trying to investigate it again so they can hold off releasing the files and actually doing anything about it. You see, remember this? This was like literally a week ago. This is the reason why they want this, is it's another appeal to bureaucracy.
So absolutely, it should be investigated. The question is, why is this a priority in a different kind of way? The politicization of the DOJ and the FBI is undeniable. So whether they are reliable narrators is the big question. And this
if you really believe that, you wouldn't want an investigation.
Is what happens when you weaponize and politicize federal agencies.
I think we need to weaponize it more. Like, I don't think the problem was weaponization. I think it's that we're not weaponizing it.
That are not meant to be,
we don't do even nearly enough.
And I think the American people are right to ask the question, well, can we trust you? And that's a sad thing to say as an American.
That's been the case for like 50 years. People didn't trust the JFK assassination.
Recall too that there's also
they weaponize the systems. Yes, never be afraid to use a weapon on a person that would use against you.
Other scandals in other states, for example, the Mississippi welfare scandal. This is not unique to politics. Americans know that. But of course, the other factor here is that because it looks like the Somali population in Minnesota, the Somali immigrant population may have been involved in some way.
Yes.
Those people are being scapegoated, and that community.
No, they're the ones doing it.
Is voted in a way that certainly serves the far right.
There it is, right? And this is the narrative that they try to push forward. And that's it. Would you classify trafficking as child trafficking and the use of children for the purpose of exploitation in various ways? It is a serious crime or violation of human rights. Would this classify as trafficking? Well, I mean, in my opinion, I don't really care what you call it. You just go after them however you can. Holding people accountable equals scapegoating? Well, this is what they do, right? And again, it's very, very common that stuff like this happens. And this is also, by the way, this is in Massachusetts. Look at this. Here we go.
I'm doing a story on holiday inns in the area, and I just wanted to ask a few questions. Oh, it's by Elliott Human Services. This company I know, they charge $42 per meal from the taxpayer.
Scorched earth, Old Testament, no mercy, no exceptions. You go all the way on it. Lock them up. Yep, lock them up. You go all the way on it. Lock them up. Yep, lock them up. They shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it.
Thing is free. Everybody has a nice car. Most of them have nice cars. Thing is free. Everybody has a nice car. Most of them have nice cars. But when they have a doctor's appointment in Boston, or they have immigration, New Hampshire, which is an hour and a half away, you think they use their own car? Nope. They say, "Oh, I need an Uber. I need a Lyft."
How much is given for rides for Uber and Lyft?
The amount of money that we would spend on Uber and Lyft was well in excess of $100.
Some kid that's just trying to make their fucking minimum wage. You want me to send it? You want me to bring him up on charges? Yeah, I do. I do. Absolutely. Because it sets an example. It sets an example that is so brutal and so extreme that it will scare the fucking shit out of anybody else that even considers thinking about doing this. Absolutely. I'm not doing it despite the fact that it's brutal. I'm doing it because it's brutal. That's the entire reason why you do it. That's the point. You have to do that, yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, and by the way, if you don't do that, it doesn't work. What if he gives up something higher? Yeah, then I would be okay with that. If they scapegoat each other, and then, yeah, I'd be fine with that.
And the amount of money that we would spend on Ubers and Lyfts was well in excess of $100,000.
Ubers and Lyft are $100,000? That's insane. Oh my God.
A month, yeah. You know, it's Lyft and Uber had it, Amazon had it 10 times better.
Wow. And how's that? How did Amazon work into this?
Every day I would order tens of thousands of dollars worth of product from Amazon. Every single day.
Yep.
7 days.
Can you see how these fake economic numbers like GDP are being artificially inflated by these, you know, basically entire parasite systems and miniature economies that go into defrauding the taxpayer and reallocating American tax dollars to foreign invaders? Do you see this?
One day I would do a huge diaper delivery, and the next day I would do a formula delivery, the next day I would buy, you know, toothbrushes, hair dryers, and combs, and strollers, anything that they needed, they got.
Now, as I continued my way around the shelter, I noticed this school bus.
That is free daycare provided to the shelter.
Wow, that's great.
Okay, so every day they take the kids to a daycare center?
No, they come there and provide daycare right on site.
Oh, right on site.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it? As the hotel got overtaken by migrant families, there was not enough capacity to fight breaking out over the washer.
They're fighting over washers and dryers. Oh boy.
Dryers. Yep. So the state contracted this company to come in 5 days a week and do everybody's laundry.
So we have the state paying to do their laundry because they keep fighting over the washers and dryers. Wow. That's amazing.
You put your laundry out by 7 o'clock, it's back by 5 o'clock, and it all comes back folded in these nice bags.
That's nice.
And
I
it's
should get
free for the taxpayers of Massachusetts pay for it. And, you know,
Let it burn down. Let it burn down until people realize that there's a fire. It'll never happen. It will. Why should you pay taxes anymore? I don't like this. Sincere, why don't I like this idea? So lose it all in one go? Yes. Yes, absolutely. And let me explain why. Because they play on your fear. They play on your fear of the unknown. They play on your fear of the uncertainty of any sort of, oh, well, this is, well, it could get a little bit better. It could be 1% better. And then it'll get 10% worse, and it'll get 1% better, then 10% worse, then 1% better. No, that won't work. Of course it'll work. And also, even if it won't work, here's the best way to look at it. What is the incentive for them to do what you want if they've already got your vote? Really, think about that logically. Why should they do something that you want them to do if you're already going to vote for them? Logically, the only other way for them to get any other votes is for them to appeal to people that are doing things that you don't want. See, you don't understand, like, a lot of people don't understand leverage. This is the only leverage that we really have, is just not voting. And unless you're willing to let it burn down, you will lose. And I will give you an example. The Democrats, I think, successfully did this. They did. They successfully did this with the Israel-Palestine-Gaza conflict. The overwhelming majority of Democrat senators have openly and very plainly moved away from supporting Israel, and they have moved directly in the direction of Palestine. And one of the reasons why is because a lot of Democratic voters stayed home in 2024 because Kamala Harris would not condemn Israel. It worked. No win in 2026? Exactly. And do you know why? Because it got worse for them. You don't think voting's already been compromised? Well, LMAO, yeah, that's the reason. That's a big reason. Yeah, it was. Pull me up? Sure. Pull me up. Get the fuck out of here. Shut up. Shut up. You're fucking annoying. You're fucking annoying. You want me like, oh wow, please, like let give me attention. I need my special attention. No, why don't you call the fucking day? It's not gonna happen. I don't believe in the don't vote method. I feel like that just gives more power to the people that will vote no matter what. I don't know what you mean by that.
For 10 years after the earthquake in Haiti, and you're like, well, so you didn't leave Haiti like this year? No, I left 10 years ago, and I went to Chile. And then they made us work, so then we went to Brazil, and we were content in Brazil. And then I'm like, well, why'd you come to America? Well, we came to America because Joe Biden told us everything was free.
Oh, that's pretty easy. Yeah, how about that? So yeah, and Polak got what he wanted. Yeah, he did. And that's why it's called, yeah. And do you think what do you think Kamala would have done as president? Probably just more the same of what Biden did, right? I mean, that's generally what I would assume more than anything else. We're going to find this. Oh, there are 539 child care centers in Washington state that list Somali as their primary language. Many don't even give a street address. Oh, man. How about that, guys? Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, no, it's happening everywhere. It's not like it's in one place. It's everywhere this is happening. I mean, do you really think that Minnesota has, like, is there something in the water that makes people scammers there? There's over 4K daycares in Boston. That's not the point of not voting. If you aren't going to get the vote, you're going to lose and do better as soon as you vote. Stop blindly voting for people who aren't going to change anything. Yeah, I don't think that's what they should do either. What's the end game of not voting? The end game of not voting is to create a situation where people that know that they're going to be able to, that people feel like they have to perform actions and they have to do what you want in order for you to vote for them. The end goal of that is to make the people that you would vote for do what you want. And unless you're willing to sacrifice a lot, they won't really do that. because it's hard to do, it's annoying. Having to explain this is crazy. Yeah, you need the leverage. That'll never happen. Of course it'll happen. Absolutely, it's very easy to do this. The thing is, you don't need to convince 52% of America to do this, or 51%. You need to convince 3%. Elections are usually won by like a few million people. It's not like Trump blew Kamala Harris out and it was like a fucking, 80% Trump. No, it was like 52 or 53%, right? Something like that, 51%. So you don't need to change a massive amount of people. You just need to change enough people to change the outcome of the election. A lot of people didn't vote? Yeah, exactly. No more free votes. Yeah, no more free votes. I like that. That's a good idea. Or are people willingly fuck themselves over just to make a point when they have a lot of problems? Not a very reasonable argument. Because a lot of problems that they have are because they wouldn't fuck themselves over earlier, and they chose the lesser of two evils so many times that it manifested a greater evil. That's the reason why. That's why we're in such debt. Yep. You just write fake ballots, toss out the other side's ballots into ditches again. Well, then there's no point in voting anyway. Either way, there's no point in voting. Don't you think the segment of Democrats who didn't vote were the more extreme voters, though? Aren't the normies who still vote for the lesser of two evils? Yeah, of course. That's why I was saying you don't need to of course you're not going to change everybody's mind. Of course not. In Minnesota, voters can vouch for 8 other people. Yeah, I know that. I know, it's so ridiculous. Enough people have to wake up and realize the fact that we have the power of the government to work for us. We just need an organized system to keep the hamster wheel up. No, I agree with you. I totally agree. So, yeah, it's exactly. And if they work out just for the sake of it, they'll slowly run the arm and the rest of the body. That's what happens. Eventually, you have to make a decision. So 539 child care centers that are Somalian as primary language. I'm sure all of these are going to happen. What is this here? Go shut the fuck up. You're literally rich. You can afford for America to fall apart. You're no different than a white liberal with security housing voting to defund the police. Okay, sure. I mean, if you disagree with that and you want to see that, and you think that voting for J.D. Vance is going to make things better and it's going to improve your life, then go ahead and do it. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's just going to be a slow run, and you're going to look back 5 or 10 years from now, and you're going to think to yourself, wow, all I did by voting is make my life worse. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, and again, you can make that decision yourself. Charge 98 individuals in relation to fraud in Minnesota. More than 60 have pled guilty or have been convicted. More to come. This is over time. There's no way you did all of this in 24 or 48 hours. This is bullshit. I wouldn't take it seriously.
Hey, people here from California and Meadville, Texas, New York, Rosebud, Oregon, Miami, Florida, Wilmington, Delaware, Asheville.
This is about $500 worth of silver that came out of this hillside behind me. Look at your silver content, man. And this hill behind me is public land. And only a few months ago, these minerals belonged to the American public. But today, they are legally mine, as well as the right to take out every single ounce of gold and silver that might be in this hill. Not because I bought the land, but because I staked a claim. Thanks to a 153-year-old law that says Americans can claim minerals on public lands. So just like that, we are recorded with the county, the same law that created the Wild West boom towns like the one that I live in. And so in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, how to find land to claim, how to stake a claim, and finally how to mine your own silver and gold. First visible gold we've seen. My name is Brent. For the past 6 years, I've lived up here in the abandoned mining town of Cerro Gordo, which was once the largest silver mine for the state of California. And the miners back in the day pulled out almost $1 billion worth of silver, zinc, and other minerals out of these hills that you see behind me. But if you rewind 160 years ago, these hills and the minerals below it used to belong to the American public. And the reason that the miners back in the day were able to come out here, extract all those minerals, and keep all the profits for themselves is thanks to a law passed in 1872 called the General Mining Act. And that act said that any individual could make their way west, stake a claim, find all the silver and gold that they could, and keep it all for themselves. And remarkably, 154 years later, that law is still active. And these days, it's often used by giant mining corporations to extract billions of dollars worth of gold and keep it all without paying any royalties. But you don't need to be a giant mining company to take advantage of this law. It was set up for individuals to go out in the mountains and have their dream of finding silver and gold. And so in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I am going to stake a claim on public land. But it's not as easy as just taking a wooden post and driving it into the ground. You have one false step makes the entire claim void. And so my first job is to figure out if there's even any land left to claim. So before you go out there and start throwing stakes in the ground and claiming any land that you see as yours, you need to make sure that that land is able to be claimed. You know, not all land in the West that is open is just yours for mineral claims. There's private land, there's national park land, there's wilderness land, there's land that even though it's Bureau of Land Management land, they've withdrew it from new mineral exploration for a variety of reasons. Most of the land surrounding Cerro Gordo is BLM land, but it's withdrew from the new mineral claims because of Department of Water and Power out of LA. They want to preserve the water, they want to protect the power line, all sorts of different things. But luckily, unlike 100 years ago, you don't have to go trudging through every hill and valley to find coast and then dig through paperwork in the county courthouse to figure out what is and isn't able to be claimed. The Bureau of Land Management has their website that is called Mineral Land Record System. And the first thing you want to do is go over underneath Research Our Real-Time Map, click Get Started, and the map that pops up is going to be your main guide to what is claimable and what is not. And the very first thing I want you to do is go over to the right side of the map to the layers, and you need to apply the applicable layers. And what you want to do is click Land Use Authorizations. That's going to show who can use the land. You want to do mining claims. I only care about active claims, not closed claims. Go down to withdrawal from the Bureau. You want to know if the land is withdrawn for any reason. You want the administrative units, the public land survey system. You're going to go down here, any national monuments, you want to exclude those too. You also want to know where the wild land area is too. So with all of those selected, then you come up here. I have some GPS coordinates of a mine that I drove by the other day. We'll throw those in and see if this is a good place to start. As it comes up, you have a little dot where that is. If you zoom out a little bit, I'll explain some of the things you can see. So it looks like there's a road in here. To my right, there is Darwin Falls, wilderness. Can't claim in wilderness. Other wilderness up here. Those are going to be highlighted. Stay away from the wilderness. The pink boxes are active mining claims. So if you click on those, you're going to see a case. And this case shows that this claim is called the Silver Swan. It's filed, 20 acres. Now, if we go back to my original coordinates and we click on it, what'll come up is where it's located in the PLSS system, and that's the coordinates you're going to need when you actually file the claim. So you'll see the Public Land Survey System. If you click to the right, you'll see more about that, who's managing it, the BLM in Ridgecrest, BLM in California, and California. So that one's good to go. But that one is the one we're going to throw on the list. And so what you do is you throw in different coordinates, you try to figure out if this land is even plannable to begin with. If we're going a little bit to the right, let's say you go way over here, and you decide we want to claim something by Panamint Springs, which is the Deathville National Park. What you're going to see is when it pops up, okay, no. Here we go. Withdrawals. Anytime a land is withdrawn, you can no longer do mineral exploration there. So this is the National Parks withdrawal. You can see all the acreage. Death Valley. So what you want to see is none of that. You want to see just what we saw before. The managing organization is the BLM, and that's it. And now it is exploration time. The internet can save me a lot of time compared to how the old timers had it back in the day. And still nothing beats doing something right. Now that I've identified some potential places, they go out there, scout them out, see what they look like, see the infrastructure, and make sure that they're actually valuable minerals left. That's an important part of this whole process.
Call this the hair mine.
This is just the first one, so I don't want to get my hopes too high, but that hair standing in the door was kind of a sign. It felt like, I don't know, it was drawing me in. I'm sure there's some mythology related to that about a hair drawing you into a dark space, but that was number one. We got 8 or 10 of these to check out, so we're going to go real quick.
Coming upon what looks to be a very DIY work cart fashioned out of a shovel, wheelbarrow. Yeah, that's something. Caretaker of Cerro Gordo, a friend, someone who's still there, so that's a Cerro Gordo tie-in for you. Last time Robert took out this claim was 2004, so 21 years ago. And there's his mining, J&R Mining. He used to have a truck that had J&R Mining on it. That's cool. Samples. So I really like that last one, but this one has that Cerro Gordo connection. So maybe I'll ring up Robert to see what type of ore they're getting out of here back in the day. But we're not done yet. Those are the options so far. There's some pretty good ones. So I'm back at Cerro Gordo and I have my favorite claim in mind. But before I can just throw some stakes in the ground and call it mine, we have to satisfy something known as the prudent man law. And this is something that goes back to a Supreme Court case in 1894 that says, would a prudent man spend his time and resources to extract minerals there? Basically, you have to show that there's a very high likelihood of minerals being in this land that you're claiming. And so what we're gonna do is, you saw me take some samples from each of them. I am gonna now sample them and hopefully show precious minerals, so silver or gold in the sample, and that would satisfy this prudent man saying, yes, there are minerals there, and that is what we're going to mine. So that's what we're gonna do now. Alright, it's more crushed up now. I saw right at the very top, look at this guy. You got some galena inside the quartz. Definitely have some shiny bits in there. Some heavy, probably the galena too is sticking in there. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put it in a pan. I'm not great at panning, but we're gonna try to pan it out and see what all we've got in here. I'm not much of a gold panner, but look, way up here, right by that shiny silver thing that looks like it's galena, there, galena, gold. Am I right or am I right? Is that not a piece? Here we go. Of gold. Damn it. Not there. That's good enough for me. We got gold in those hills. So we can move on to the next step. Let's go claim some gold. We're getting closer. So we found a claim, we like the claim, we proved that there's probably some precious minerals in there, and now it is time to officially stake that claim, let everybody know, back off, this is mine. And if you ever wandered around the West, particularly in BLM land, you probably have come across one of these, a 4x4 post shoved into some rocks. And most likely, if you looked around it, either in the base or nailed to the side, you might have found one of these, an old tobacco tin. And if you open it up, there's probably some paperwork inside, like this that I found here at Cerro Gordo from 1925. And the paperwork inside shows you the main things about that claim. It shows you the name of the claim, who is claiming it, what is being claimed, where it is, how big it is, when the discovery was made, and a certificate that you did it all correctly. And unfortunately, there's no standardized form for the location notice. It varies county by county, state by state, but we'll deal with that in a minute. As far as the posts, it needs to be clearly and distinctly marked. And what that means can vary as well. You know, different counties, different states want to see different things. But if you go on the BLM's website, what they want to see is a 4x4 post that's about 4 feet tall, the bottom 1 foot of which can be inside rocks supported. And these markers are saying, again, this is my land, this is
been claimed, it has a location marker stuck to it, and legally, you just need to put the post at the location monument, meaning where you found the boar. But in practice, it's good to put one in all four corners. So that's why if there's ever a question, you can say, no, I marked all four corners of the claim. But again, on these, somewhere around the base or nailed to the side, needs to be that location information. And so now, it's time to go inside and try to figure out that form. Along with that location notice, you also have to put a really simple map. Something that shows the section, the township, the range, the BLSS grid. That is basically showing the BLM and the county what part of the earth you are claiming as your own. And without it, the notice is just basically words. You need to show visually what you're claiming. And I'll put a little link down below to show how to do that as well. It's a little bit complicated, but it's not too difficult to figure out. And once you have this paperwork, I'm going to print it, I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to take two versions of it. The first version is going to be left at the location monument. The second version I have to take into the county to record it there, then bring that same recorded copy over to the BLM to get it really secure. Let's print this stuff up, let's get down the hill, let's get back to this claim, and finally stake it as my own. Now, the moment we have been waiting for. I'm going to take my claim papers and my map. I'm going to fold these up. I brought along an old tobacco tin for good measure. Throw them in here, attach them to our stake, and it's ours. It's kind of a weird feeling, the fact that land can go from ours to somebody just because of some wooden claims. That's how the law is written. That's how the West was settled. That's about my pay grade to change. So I'm just playing with the rules that we have. So here we are. This will be our monument marker. I'm going to attach this with some twine, some steel cable. And it'll be ours. Alright, so as I'm slipping and sliding to go put in our corner post, I think it's important to talk about what a mining claim allows you to do and what it does not allow you to do. First, having a mining claim on property does not turn it into your private property. You cannot build a cabin, you cannot build a fence, you cannot stop other people from hiking on it or doing what they want to. It's still Bureau of Land Management land and Forest Service land. Now, what it does allow you to do is to have exclusive right to whatever is inside the mountain, the mineral content. So if there's lead, silver, gold, zinc, whatever it may be, that is what you have exclusive rights towards now. So if you're out there and you're excited and you want to go claim some land, thinking you're going to build a vacation house, you're not. It's not allowed. You're merely allowed the exclusive right to mine the minerals. Now back in the day, there was a step further that you could take it and patent the claim. So the claim that I'm taking out is an unpatented claim, and that's the majority of the claims in the United States. Back in the day, you could take it a step further, show that you did a lot of work, and essentially turn the claim into private property through a step called patenting. But they haven't done that, the United States government, since the 1990s. So you're not going to patent land and turn it into private property. It's just not going to happen. So I encourage you guys to go out there and try this, but again, fully understand what you are allowed and not allowed to do once you put up your claim. And with that, let's slip and slide, put in these corner posts, get this filed with the county. First corner is in. Now some slipping and sliding. I did say there was no work involved in staking your claim. I definitely have it a lot easier than the miners back in the day that would have had to take a mule all the way up here. I get my Polaris, but it is getting a bit hot. And luckily, as always, I have Element with me. Element is a very simple electrolyte mix. It's just sodium, potassium, magnesium. Comes in these very convenient little pouches. All you gotta do is take this, throw it in a bottle of water, mix it up, and you're good to go. If you watch these videos, you know that I'm always moving around, exploring mines, claiming mines, rehabbing mines. I sweat a lot out here in the desert, and this thing has just been a game changer for me. It prevents all those muscle cramps, fatigue, headaches, all that type of stuff. Now, if you want to give it a shot, all you have to do is go to drinkelement.com/Brent, and they're giving away an 8 sample pack with any purchase. Stuff is great. It truly makes all my adventures possible, so I hope you check it out. I have staked my claim officially, and I'm excited. I'm kind of nervous. I probably have the feeling that back in the day they had where I want to race down there to make sure that nobody else claimed this spot. I mean, even walking around putting up the stakes, you kind of feel a sense of like connection to the place. So I'm going to race down, file some paperwork with the county, then file some paperwork with the BLM. We'll go over how to do all of that. And my life is a lot easier because I'm going to get back into this Polaris and I have to take a mule a couple of days to get to the courthouse. Now we are getting somewhere. I have staked my claims. Now it's time to make it official. I am headed to the courthouse, to the Inyo County Recorder, where we need to record this claim, this location notice that I filled out before. And once it's recorded with the county, we're going to file it with the BLM. And the BLM is going to process it, and in a number of weeks, I'll officially have my claim filed and on notice. And so the first step, we're headed to Independence, California to file some claims. All right, so just like that, we are recorded with the county, $98.09 in total. They need to verify this, so I'll get an official letter in the mail. But technically, I am recorded at this point, and so I can start sending this stuff to the Bureau of Land Management, get my approvals and all that. We're getting there. One more step of this process down before we can actually start getting up there and poking around a little more.
All right, now we hope that inside we have this. This is the next step. This would mean that the paperwork is officially recorded for the county, which means now I can submit this to the BLM to really make it official. So finally, after weeks of waiting, all of the paperwork, all of the research, all of the scouting, the minerals are officially mine for the taking. And that is what we're going to do today. We're going to mine, and hopefully I'm going to get a couple 100 pounds, maybe close to a ton. I'm going to take all of the ore back to Cerro Gordo. We're going to crush it up, refine it, hopefully get down to as close to pure gold and silver, if I can get some galena, as we can. We're going to weigh that up, and we're going to keep talking about this process, and I'm excited. It's going to be the first day out of the mine after weeks of anticipation, so stay tuned. We're back, and it feels good that all these rocks I have claim to now. I can take as many as I can take. So that's what we're gonna try to do today. So out of this top vein, I'm starting to find some pretty nice stuff. This piece has some really cool galena in it. You see that really sparkly stuff there. So we have galena inside the quartz, which is really neat. And then over here, this is kind of what you want to start seeing. So in here, there is a lot of pyrite. You can see down here, there's some pyrite going on. There's also a little bit more galena, and there's kind of this iron staining. And somewhere in here, I don't know where it went. I think there might be a telluride up there. There was a little fleck of gold right there. I don't know if it'll come out in this camera, but it's the first visible gold we've seen. So that's positive, and that means that this stuff could be good stuff. Take all the ore back to Cerro Gordo. I'm moving as fast as I can. That thing is closing in on me. I'm gonna try to keep going. I'm gonna wait it out. It doesn't look like it's too big a storm. Hopefully it's not too long.
Okay, cool.
Keep going, but I got a good amount of ore down there now. Just gonna bucket it up later. Just gonna send it all down there. Throw it in the buckets, throw it in my truck, and get out of here.
Let me just make sure it's picking up on the live stream. Okay.
All right, starting to get a good haul.
Okay, I think I hold on.
So rich. This is that stuff that was kind of pocket getting out. This is the stuff from the first white quartz vein. But some of it, again, just rich galena all through this. So it might be that we're getting more silver.
Maybe just with the audio bouncer was down too low.
Some of these things
I don't know.
are so pretty that like beautiful white quartz with galena stripes through it. I'm starting to find some pretty nice stuff. Good amount here, so now we need to get all this home and start refining it. Really cool galena. You see that very sparkly stuff there. So galena inside the quartz is really neat. And over here, in here, there is a lot of pyrite. You can see down here some pyrite going on. There's also a little bit more galena. We're back. And there's kind of this iron staining. And somewhere in here,
Alright, let me mute my video. ideal.
Floor.
I'm gonna hop off at 6, guys, and my dad and I are gonna watch Giants game. It's just a tradition we've had.
So we're gonna take these big rocks over here, throw them in
you
here.
know, it's just a thing we
It's
do.
gonna crush up the rocks.
But yeah,
after we crush them, we're gonna weigh them. And we start refining.
I know
them
the
to
Giants
see
don't
how
win
much
that
gold
often,
and
but
silver
they're still my
actually
team, you know. You
in
gotta
these
support
rocks
your team,
ahead
right?
of us. So let's get crushing.
I don't know. But
328. That is our starting number. 328. So let's just get this ground and down into metal.
okay, my mic is on now. Now it's just this audio on the video is like unbalanced.
So we got our
Let me,
dirt down from rock. Got the sluice.
turn this guy down.
Flowing pretty fast. I
This
don't know if
video
that's
is
a good or a bad thing, but we can give it a shot.
Making it hard
All
for
the
me to
heavies, the
talk.
lead, silver, and gold should accumulate down to this mat, and then we'll reduce it down from there. But let's get to sluicing.
Alright, cool. Okay, so I think France is going to win this war now that they've landed in England.
Alright, so
And
that's
especially
the
if we
first
join the war
20 pounds
and
or so, so we have
do our
20
own
pounds
war.
left to go.
But we're
Almost
going to have to
done.
recover from this
A
Bailey
lot
old
of
thing
shiny stuff.
going on.
Whole lot of shiny stuff. That's a whole lot of galena is what I'm seeing so far. I know there's some gold in there somewhere, but look at all that. Did a good job of catching it. You can see the heavy bits down in the mat. Down here, I mean that little pocket. Shimmer City.
So improve their cultural opinion of us, and we're also going to work on improving their diplomatic opinion. So we're going to do that next. We have a diplomatic thing recharged for them. But until then, we can work with improving with Inverness.
So hopefully all the precious metals are down in here. And what we'll do is, after we get all the heavies off the mat, out of all the ore, I'm gonna smelt this.
Alright, we're gonna intercept them in the north.
Silver and gold, and then we're gonna see how much we actually got out of here.
Actually, we can beat that off. Or beat those guys. I don't know why I said it like that. I don't know why I said it like that. What the fuck? I meant defeat them. You know. Wipe them out.
Right, so
Finish them off.
About 3.5
Not
pounds of
beat
what I'm going to call
them.
concentrates. But this isn't going to be just silver, gold, or even lead or other things. This is still going to have quartz in it, silica, all sorts
I'm not
of
gonna
other stuff
lie, I
to
kind of
get
hate
out.
that guy
So to get that out,
who is
we're gonna
the
add
guy
to
from
principle this,
the like
we're gonna
old
add
guy
quartz,
from
something to promote fluidity,
I forget the
help
guy's
extract
name.
everything we don't want. I'm gonna use
The
a mix
guy
of
who's
soda
like
ash,
annoying
borax. We're gonna
in
mix it all up. This is gonna heat it up.
in
really
that
hot,
one.
help
I don't know what the
pull out
fuck his
everything
name
that
is.
lead and
The actor who's like, oh, I have anxiety. I am Pedro. Oh yeah, Pedro Pascal, that fucking guy. I'm not gonna lie, I hate that guy. He's annoying.
heavy precious metals. The
I don't even know
silver,
why I
lead,
hate him. I just think he's like tries to
gold,
be such a
we're gonna
troll.
sink to the bottom,
It's like
and the
such an emasculated piece of shit.
borax and soda ash, that's gonna have all the impurities in it. So let's mix this stuff up.
Alright, let
heat
me
it
boost
up,
speed up
pour it
one.
into a clone mold, and see how much actual valuable minerals we have in all of this.
Or we're gonna bring these guys into Glasgow, have them repair, and then we're gonna try and land some troops on this island right here. Take that, so we don't have a place to dock over here. Because if I can take the western islands, it'll be easier to keep them from docking and repairing over here. So let me detach some of these guys. Merge, create a new unit. I don't have enough. And then we'll just take these guys over here.
3 pounds, 7 ounces of what I was calling concentrates. After all of that sluicing, we smelted it and got about 7 ounces of material. Now this is going to be lead and any silver and gold that were in those rocks to begin with. And the lead in this case kind of acted as a collector metal. Sometimes you have to add that into the process.
And I'm gonna assign these guys to bring food to our troops. And these guys will have bring food to these guys on the islands. These guys in the center that are being raised right now in Irvine or whatever. It's weird. It's a Scottish city name.
So I'm going to have to do next is called cupellation, using one of these little cupels.
Okay.
So this is going to oxidize. It's going to take away all of the non-precious minerals. So the lead.
And we're gonna go here. We're gonna go perform army logistics, and there we go.
Of any silver and gold
Same with these guys. Perform army logistics. We're gonna go here. Okay, those guys.
Alright, so here are the 4, and you can see all the lead that got absorbed. Now this is still not down.
Perform navy logistics.
Pure silver. This just absorbed all the lead that it could. So I'm going to consolidate these into 2 more. And we're going to get closer.
Oh, we're taking so much long.
Silver, but we still need to get this
we're basically just going to take, obviously we're going to annex Belial full on, and then we're going to,
Alright, all of that concentrate.
Let me show character information actually.
Put into 4 crucibles, put it into 2, then put it into 1. And there are the precious metals that we have left behind. Not very much. And I am just killing myself with these crucibles.
I know this can be won much more easily than this, but I'm just obviously I don't have that many hours in EU4, and some of the ones I do have are like they're like basically hours on the main menu, or like occasionally I let it run. I did this the other night. I let it run on simulation, and I didn't play it, but you know, most of it the hours are played, but there are hours that are played on Steam Deck, and the thing about that is it has like different controls and just certain things you can't do. So.
We're going to get it almost all the way there, which should save us quite a bit on cupels, because it's not practical on a very small scale, but that is what we got.
Alright, we're going to dock these guys in Lorne, and then we're going to move them over to here and have a 1-tile move from there to here. Then we're going to bring them up here, and I think we're going to dock in Gerlach, or whatever this is. March south, siege these individual ones, loot it a bit, and then we'll take in the core lowlands territory.
So after literally months, these are little pucks of all of our heavy metals from the first batch of materials from the mine. So this is going to have silver, any gold, probably still some lead left behind. And so this is close to what they call a doré. And doré is almost fully refined minerals that they do at the mill site before sending them to the final refining. And so what I'm going to do is take all of these.
Let me drop this down a bit.
Still in them. I'm going to throw them into this bar. That's actually a mold for a Cerro Gordo bar. We're going to melt all this down into a bar. Then we're going to take it to an XRF gun.
And then we're going to drop this down to 5.
And tell us exactly
so plus 5 or.
And then we'll know exactly how much we got out of this first batch from the new claim. So first, let's get all these out of here into this bar. Make ourselves a nice looking bar. There's all my pucks. So you can see I should get a good bar out of it, but I still have a little bit of
keep that
stuff
there.
on, so I'm going to clean them up a little bit more.
And we'll bring this up a bit.
Add in.
I think we can get all the stat paid down if we take the money that Belial has.
Then we're pouring them into this bar.
Especially if we're able to curry favors as France and ask them for money afterwards. So let's do that right now. Oh, we are currying favors, okay. We have them 3. Not this, okay. Cancel. Let me see if we can get an alliance with them now. Improve cultural opinion. Oh wow. That's a lot of card. That's alliance.
Alright, so I'm driving up to Bishop.
Okay, no, they wouldn't accept that, but what we can do is, I kind of want to try and take England on in a war later on, but we'll probably have to develop our land a bit. One thing we could do is take on Frisia and take a hold in the lowlands. We might be able to vassalize some of these guys though. Let's look on subject actions and
I'd go through hundreds of more cupels. And so
diplomatic
just
actions.
know what we got. We're gonna take this in. This is gonna have quite a bit of lead still in it, but hopefully some silver and hopefully some gold. I'm not as good as gold, so we'll see here shortly.
So now we can put your bar in the little lead box. Right above it, we have a huge, you can take all of this as a percentage too if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Because we have 710,000 parts per million lead.
Okay.
And then we've got iron in here with 40.2.
I don't know if that gives us better market share or whatever, but
then we've got
or not market share, but like
at
control of our market.
And
having our vassals
we get into
embargo that guy,
smaller
but
numbers.
whatever.
There's a zinc content with only 1,345 parts per million, and there's zirconium content, which is pretty cool. And then here's the one you came for with 162.8 thousand parts per million of silver, and you also have kind of a shocking amount of titanium in there.
That's
too.
really weird.
Titanium's worth a lot, I think.
Yep.
Feel free to put it in. We'll do another test as no surprises there. The lead is about exactly the same.
Alright, let's try and do a sea landing of this on, what is this, Uibis? I don't know how that's pronounced, but whatever.
So it's mostly lead at 26 troy ounces, but there's at least 3.22 troy ounces of silver in there.
So after all of that, 3, maybe 4 ounces of silver worth maybe $300, $400, maybe $500 if silver is at its all-time high. Not exactly striking it rich, but I definitely spent too much time on the quartz when I first got there. I thought there was gold there, but the XRF gun does not lie. And admittedly, this is not the most efficient way to refine silver or gold. This is amateur hour at best, but it's kind of in the spirit of how the law was set up 150 something years ago. You know, for an individual to climb up in the mountains, find some precious minerals, and do their best at getting the valuable stuff out. And for my claim, 7 months later, it is still listed as filed. Eventually, it'll become active.
Oh, I should probably change the title of the stream, huh?
Begin
I just realized,
when it is filed. And this is a law that has a lot of complicated history. It was set up 150 years ago for an individual to go out there and try their luck with a pickaxe and a shovel. And these days, it's oftentimes used and abused by giant billion-dollar foreign companies to come in here, take precious minerals out of public lands and not pay any royalties for it. That's a topic for a whole nother video, but if you're interested, check out the Mining Act of 1872 and kind of how it's used.
Or we're gonna siege Kleckman and bring these guys up to here to unify with them.
Going through this whole process,
and then we're gonna bring our navy and our army down to Sterling, siege that, and keep these guys from moving further north. Because they levied up an army in the south.
7 months, and as a small thank you for the support over the years, I'm going to give away this piece that took me 7 months to make. It is absolutely free to enter. I'm going to put a link down below. Throw in your email. I'm going to send this off to one of you guys. And if you're out there and you're thinking about trying out a claim, I hope you do it. You know, 150 years later, it's still possible. It's set up for individuals like you and I. So go out there, have some fun, see what you can find. Let me know if you do find something. And until next time, I hope you guys have an amazing week. And thank you so much.
I'm gonna try and build a hospital before the Black Death comes. I always like to do that when I can, but I don't think I'll be able to. But if we can get some gold from France and then invite settlers to Highlands, kind of like to supplant the culture there. I don't really care. I mean, our primary culture of our king at least is
But given the precious metals have just
what the fuck? How did you get there, you shits?
Maybe
Get out of
it's
there.
time to reevaluate that answer. So in this video, we are going to see exactly how long and how much money it takes for me to mine and refine 1 ounce of silver out of the abandoned mine right up there. So over the last year, both
Alright, let's try
silver
and
and gold
cut
have
them
gone
off
up about 30%.
with a landing in Ire.
Gold just hit
Ire,
all-time high, and it
Sire.
seems that silver is trailing right behind it.
When was this made? Because I think gold is like
precious metals
$5,000 now, or like
Mines
4,000
that
or something.
previously didn't make sense to operate.
This
get
was 1
reopened.
year ago.
You know, you see this in Australia, you see this in Canada, you see this in the United States. There's even a term called moth.
When Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon for the first time in 1969, it was a moment that defined a generation. In the 5 decades since, we've sent rovers to Mars, probes to the edge of the solar system, and telescopes that can see back to the beginning of the universe. And yet, in terms of how far we've actually sent a human being, there has been 0 progress. But that is about to change. Artemis 2 will carry 4 astronauts on a journey around the moon, and when they get there, they will be further away from Earth than any person has ever gone. This is the beginning of a new giant leap for our generation to witness, and the first small step for this crew will be towards solving a new problem that NASA has never had to figure out before.
I'm just taking the Knights
Going
for their
back to the
mobility's
moon
sake.
isn't just a matter of
I don't
building
think
a
they have
rocket
any more
and
troops up
pointing it
here.
in the
I mean, they
right
might have these guys, but I don't
The
think
plan
they're.
this time is to stay, to build a permanent human presence in deep space. To do that safely,
I think it's
you
weird
need
that the
to
moon
know
is considered
exactly
deep
how your
space. Like
spacecraft
it's.
behaves with human beings
Yeah,
inside.
I don't know.
That's what Artemis 2 is. A crude
Also, look
test
up
of the
the
most
concept.
powerful
I mean,
rocket
you
ever
guys
launched
play.
with 4
You
people
probably
on
anyone
board.
who plays
We'll find out if it's
EU4 knows
actually
the concept, but
This is who they are, what they're
Mare
going to do,
Nostrum basically
and why
meant
this
like
mission is bigger
inland
than
for
most
people
people
who didn't play EU4. Basically
Leading
meant
the mission will
RC,
be
and it was like the
Commander
Romans'
Wiseman,
phrase of
who
like
spent 27
the
years as a fighter
Mediterranean.
pilot in the US
And
Navy
I've
before
heard the
joining
concept
NASA's
that
astronaut
like the
ranks in
US government is like
2009.
trying to make
He flew to the ISS for
the
the
space
first
between the
time in
moon and the
2014
Earth
on board a
that
Russian
essentially.
Soyuz rocket, and later became NASA's chief of the astronaut office in 2020.
Okay, we're gonna have to break the
Victor
siege.
Glover
I'm
will
gonna
pilot
tell
the
these guys to
spacecraft.
detach and
Also
stay
a
there.
former U.S. Navy
And we're
airman
gonna
who was
reinforce.
deployed in Operation Iraqi Freedom. He made his first trip to
The
Earth
Knights are
orbit
gonna
in
have to hold out.
2020
Okay,
on
never mind.
board a
They're
SpaceX Dragon
reinforcing,
capsule.
so we're gonna bring the Knights
Christina
south.
Cook is a
She-
mission specialist.
they
She
can't
has a
take that on
background as an
themselves,
electrical
so
engineer, Antarctic
help them out with
explorer,
this.
and firefighter before joining NASA in 2002. She holds the
Charge
record
in,
for the
Knights!
longest single
Charge in,
spaceflight
charge
by a
in.
female astronaut with 328 consecutive
Alright, we'll
days
take
in
Strathern.
Jeremy
Because this is a
Hansen
pass
another
that's kind of
mission
necessary for us
specialist,
to.
also a veteran
Also, I need to build
pilot.
roads up
Hansen
in
has
this
actually
area. I
never
know.
been to space, but he has spent time as
Sometimes
an
I delay
athlete,
building
which
roads
is
because you can't really do it
long-duration
right
deep-sea
away
diving.
if you don't
He's
have
also the first Canadian to
stone
fly
or
to the
anything
moon.
like that, you know. But
These 4 people will spend 10 days in space on a flight that will take them around the moon and could reach a distance over 400,000 kilometers away from the Earth. That is further away from home than any human has ever traveled. From here, the Earth will look like a small and distant globe behind the lunar horizon. A site
you know, they
that was first
basically
captured
gave
by
up
the
on
crew of the
colonizing
Apollo
Mars
8
before they
mission
colonized the
in the
moon,
year
which it makes sense, right? Because like
This
the moon
is
is
a
like the
photograph
port
that
of
has come to
Earth
be known
to the
as
solar
Earthrise.
system. If you think
It's
about
the
it,
first
it's
clear
like
image
Earth's
ever taken of the
harbor
Earth and the
to the
moon
solar system, and I
together.
think that's what any moon
Before
should be
that, people had
considered
only seen
to like
grainy,
a
low-quality images
planet,
of
right?
outer
It's like
space
its port
taken
of
by cold,
call or whatever you want to
mechanical
call it. I don't
probes.
know what the fuck you
This
call
was a
it,
scene
you know.
composed through the human eye and captured on color film. And
Let's
it
merge
changed
these and
the world.
units and
Just like Artemis 2, Apollo 8 was the first crewed test flight of a brand new state-of-the-art
so we don't have
technology.
that supply
And
coming
we
in
have
from
come
sea.
a long way
They'd
since
have
the
to come
1960s.
around, but
This is our new spacecraft.
probably
The design is known as Orion, but this particular
supply
capsule
routes. But
has been
I don't
named
really think that they
Integrity
have
by
any
its
troops right now because they're
Compared to
killed
the
all
old
their
Apollo
levies.
capsule, it has 60%
I don't know if I have any
more
levies that I
internal
could
volume.
bring up, but
That's what
we
allows
do.
the vehicle to accommodate a crew of 4,
Sorry,
while
I
the
don't wanna
previous
equip them
moon missions
regulars.
capped out at 3.
Yeah, we do.
Beyond just an extra chair, the new design offers some
20,
luxuries that were
okay,
not available in the past.
Bring these 20
Chief
for the
among them
supply of
being
these
a space
40.
toilet.
240.
Ever
Whatever.
since the space age began, engineers have obsessed over efficiency. When every gram matters, you design equipment that carries more while taking up less space. That same idea applies to something we all carry every day, our wallet. Exter makes one of the smartest wallets out there. It's about half the size of a traditional wallet, but still holds over 12 cards and cash. And instead of digging through layers of leather, you get instant access with Exter's signature trigger mechanism. One click and your cards slide out in a neat stack.
This
It
is
also
gonna be
has
the
built-in
easiest one to
RFID
accomplish.
blocking to protect against wireless data theft and skimming, and if you add Exter's solar-powered tracker card, you can track your wallet right now from your phone. You'll get separation alerts if you leave it behind, and you can even make it ring to find it. The materials are impressive too, with options like space-grade aluminum and sustainable vegan leather, so it's durable while staying
Vegan leather.
incredibly slim. And if you travel a lot, Exter also makes clever gear like their travel pack compression bags that help you pack more into your carry-on
Vegan
without bulking
leather.
up your luggage. If you want to upgrade your everyday
We need
carry,
real
use my
man's
code, the
leather,
Space
boys.
Race,
Real
in the
man's
description to get
leather.
20%
Right
off in
here, right
addition
here,
to the current
boys.
sale, which
Uh-huh.
includes discounts of up to 65% off. Back in the Apollo days,
No
the
vegan
best
leather.
and bravest NASA astronauts had to pee in a hose and poop into a plastic bag.
Ew.
Sometimes they missed, and that led to some nasty stuff floating around in a very confined space. Orion has the new Universal Waste Management System. It's based on the same toilet they use on the ISS, and it's located inside a wall of the spacecraft behind a small door for privacy. The astronauts will also be bringing a gym to the moon. Because these Artemis missions are designed to be long duration, the crew needs to exercise every day in order to maintain their muscle mass and bone density in the microgravity environment. So the capsule is equipped with this simple rowing machine that allows them to get in a full-body workout. For meals, the crew will be eating dried food packets that get rehydrated with fresh water. One of the advantages of a relatively short-duration spaceflight is that there's no need to recycle water on Artemis 2, so unlike astronauts on the ISS, they will not be drinking their own pee. Human waste from the toilet system will simply be vented out into space. And of course, the most
shit
important
sewer.
part of the mission,
The space
the crew will
sewer
be
is a
taking
shit
photos
pile.
and videos of the
The
most
intergalactic shit
spectacular
pile.
view as they fly around the moon. The Orion spacecraft will be equipped with
Alright, so
professional-grade
what's our
Nikon
goals
cameras and
for
lenses,
this mission?
along with a collection of GoPros that will be collecting footage inside the capsule.
We
for
want
a
to
Disney
build
Plus
peasant.
documentary.
So the first
And
one's
most
peasant
importantly,
contentment.
Artemis 2
Our
will
commoner
be the
state needs
first
to be at
NASA mission
65%
where astronauts are allowed to
satisfaction.
bring their iPhones
So I wonder
along
if we
with
can
them to space.
let's get
But
that up
before any of this can happen,
or get
there
that
is
trending up
launch
at least
day.
by
This
adding
is
a
what
proposal for
NASA
them.
has spent the better part of the last decade.
Actually, we'll do
preparing for.
autonomous villages
They
first.
have already completed the first uncrewed test
We'll add
flight with
that,
Artemis 1
though,
in November 2022,
on top
but
of
now it's finally
Commerce
time
and the
for the real
administration,
deal.
that's fine.
The rocket and spacecraft are already on the
Free
launch pad and going through final checks as we speak. What we are looking at is actually two separate vehicles. There is the SLS booster and the Orion spacecraft. Beginning with SLS, this is the most powerful human-rated rocket booster ever made. So when our crew lifts off, there will be more thrust under their seat than any person has ever experienced. The majority of that power comes from two solid rocket motors strapped to the sides of the main rocket body. If you've ever
Okay,
flown
we
a model
freed
rocket
Sterling.
with that
Oh,
little
we're
cardboard
done with
tube
war.
of
Hell yeah.
propellant, this is the
Nice.
exact same concept, just much, much, much bigger. Each side booster is the height.
Alright, in
of
that
a
case, we're probably gonna
17-story
go
building
further on and
capable of producing
siege
3.6
Tyrone.
million pounds of
Tyrone.
thrust. That's more power than
Tyrone,
two
brother.
SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets
Brother man.
combined. These also have some extra decoration for Artemis
Sorry, it's
2
gonna
with
fuck
a
up. I don't
big
care.
America 250 painted on the side of the booster. That is in celebration of the nation's founding in 1776 250 years ago. It's a
who
fitting
else
tribute
can
to
we
put on
take
this
on?
rocket when you consider that SLS
easier.
and Orion were built by
They might
over
actually just accept
3,200
vassalization.
American
No, they won't.
suppliers
Okay.
and contractors across every state of the U.S.
Well, we'll just disband our
In the middle
levies
is
and
this giant
work on
orange fuel tank
recruiting
that will
a
be filled with
professional
liquid
army.
hydrogen and liquid
We're not going to
oxygen.
do that until we get the
On Earth,
discounted
we are typically
cost
going
to
to find
that.
hydrogen and oxygen in the form of a gas. So to convert
do
that
to
into a liquid
reduce
state,
costs.
you have to make it very cold, taking it down below negative 100
Expand these
degrees
fishing
to a
boats.
cryogenic temperature. And the reason we do
Did we
that
lose
is
our
because a
navy?
liquid
I think we
is
did.
much more dense than a gas, which means that we are going to get a much more powerful reaction when we set it on fire. Down at the base of the fuel tank is where all of the fire happens. We have 4 RS-25 rocket engines that combine the 2 liquid propellants and ignite
we can
them
get an
to
alliance
create
with France.
even more liftoff power.
Let's
Now,
boost
if
up
any of this stuff
our
looks familiar,
diplomatic
that's
spending.
probably because we are
Oh, what
looking
the heck?
at
We're
the
bankrupt.
exact same approach that NASA took
Bro,
with their space
what
shuttle
the?
program.
When did this happen?
The big orange tank, side
Damn.
boosters, hydrogen fuel, it's all taken from the old shuttle playbook. Particularly the RS-25 engines, which were literally taken from retired space shuttles. NASA made the smart decision to save those for future projects, and now they are ready to launch people into space once again as part of the SLS rocket. At T0, the 4 hydrogen-burning engines will ignite first and throttle up. Now, they don't have enough power on their own to actually lift the rocket, but they are still very important for the ascent phase, because unlike the side boosters, these are able to swivel around and point the nozzles in different directions. That's how the rocket booster steers itself through the atmosphere. Once the core stage is running smoothly, this is when ground control is going to ignite 2 side boosters. These provide more than 75% of the rocket's total thrust, so once they get started, things are going to move really fast. They are also going to get really bright. When the first SLS launched on Artemis 1, it was the brightest rocket in history. It literally turned night into day for the area around the launch site. Now, up here in the nose cone is where our crew is going to be.
Guys, I'm going to end the live soon, but not yet. So, if you want to hang out for the last little bit, you're more than welcome to, but I'm going to end it soon. And I'm going to head downstairs and watch Giants game.
Cover is this really pointy bit. That is the capsule's launch abort system. Here's how that works. About halfway up the spike are 4 small rocket motors. If at any point during the launch the flight computer senses anything going wrong with the engine's performance or the trajectory of the SLS, it is going to ignite the launch abort system. Those 4 motors will pull the capsule away from the rocket booster, then the capsule will separate from the abort system and deploy its parachute so that everyone will safely float back down and land in the water. This is the main reason why Artemis 2 will probably launch in the middle of the night. If, for whatever reason, the crew has to perform a high-altitude abort, then the capsule might end up coming down somewhere halfway around the world, and we don't want rescue teams on the open ocean trying to find them in the dark. So if it's night in Florida, then it's going to be morning in Africa, and that provides just a little more peace of mind if the worst-case scenario were to happen. But that is highly unlikely, so assuming
we're going to work on building
goes well,
villages.
at about 2 minutes into flight, the side boosters
Actually,
will
I think we
separate
just
from
got
the core
this
of the
done.
SLS. This is a
Yeah, we
really
did.
cool sight to see. As they fall back, each
So what
booster
do we
is
do?
going to drag a
Select a
giant
rural
tail of
location for
sparks
mission
from the burning
tasks.
embers of propellant. At this
Um,
point, the rocket is about 50 kilometers above the Earth, or halfway to space. But the power of the side boosters has pushed it through the most dense
There's
part
no
of the
Glasgow.
atmosphere. So now the SLS is able to cruise on those
Road to
4
Dunfermline,
hydrogen-burning
so we need to go
engines.
through Stirling.
About 1 minute later,
then
the
to
launch abort
Dunfermline.
system is going
Okay.
to separate from the nose of the rocket, and our crew will finally be able to see out of their windows. So don't confuse that with an actual abort. At this altitude, with such a thin atmosphere, it's not needed anymore. The capsule can still perform an emergency return to Earth,
Alright, let's
but it
do a
doesn't
sand
require
pit.
those extra motors in the spike.
Actually,
to
no, we
do
probably
that.
should build a mason first, right?
The SLS core is going to
Where do we have
continue
stone
burning
naturally
until 8
occurring?
minutes and 30 seconds into flight, which is an altitude of about
Guess somewhere up
150
here, right?
kilometers. At that point, the
let's
main
go to
engines will shut down, and the
RGOs.
big orange tank will separate from the rocket's
You know, I
upper
really
stage.
like live streaming
Now
EU4
there's
and
one more
Area 5,
hydrogen
and I don't
engine
really
on
know
board
why I
the
haven't done
second
it much
stage of
more
the
than
SLS
this.
that will keep pushing the crew
I think we're
until
gonna
their
go play this a
spacecraft is
bit as our
inserted
main
into
for a
very
while.
high Earth orbit.
I
Then the
just don't
second
like
stage engine
playing
will
the same
separate
game
at
over and
20
over,
minutes into the
but
mission, and we will
You know,
be
if we're all
left
enjoying
with
it, like,
just
and
the
everyone's
Orion
like having a good
spacecraft.
time, I feel like I'll play this
Only
for
a
a bit.
tiny little fraction of that gigantic rocket stack that lifted off. From here, the crew will be flying in an oval-shaped path around the Earth. We call this an elliptical orbit. So on one end, they are going to be
We probably
very
should build
high
some
above the
settlements,
surface,
huh?
about 70,000 kilometers, which is already further from the Earth than any
Maybe,
person has
maybe
gone
not.
in decades. And then on the other side of the oval,
We
they'll
have
be
salt
at
here
a
that we can
relatively
build up.
low altitude of just 100.
Man, none of these have enough. You know, we need to be
This is by design.
settling tribes
They are
in,
going
probably,
to hang
huh?
out here for a couple of days, performing
So
a
we'll go
very
here,
thorough
scroll
systems
down
check
here,
of the
settle
integrity capsule
tribesmen.
and its attached service
here.
module. That's the short cylinder
We'll do it
section
in
of the
Galway
vehicle
and in
where the main
Aberdeenshire
engines and
first.
maneuvering thrusters are located. It's also where all
I don't
of
know if
the
we can do
crew's
two at once on
oxygen
this one.
and water is stored, and the solar panels attached to the service
Yeah, we can.
module
Okay, cool.
provide power for the entire mission. They generate enough electricity to supply 2 average American homes. The first thing we need to confirm is that the life support system is working as expected. That's the most important part. Second is the Orion's navigation and thruster controls. You might remember an incident from last year where 2 astronauts were quote-unquote stranded in space. They were also flying the first crewed mission with a new capsule design called the Boeing Starliner, and it ended up having some pretty serious problems.
Alright, where are we
with the
gonna
vehicle's
settle this
maneuvering
guy?
thrusters. They were so bad
Gonna
that the
do him.
Starliner had to return home empty while its crew waited another 6 months to catch the next ride back to Earth. Now, we don't want to see a repeat of that on a moon landing, so the Orion crew is going to verify the performance of
And
their
then
spacecraft by performing a simulated docking maneuver.
High skill for
So
admin
the first
for
thing that
this.
happens is the autopilot
So
system
who has our
will flip
highest
the
admin
vehicle
skill? It's
around
probably
to
this
get
guy
the
and someone
nose
else,
pointing
right?
in the opposite direction.
Sir Andrew
From
Murray
here,
and Sir
Victor
William
Glover will take
Douglas.
over with
Okay, we'll
manual
send those
control
two.
of the spacecraft and begin steering back towards the ejected second stage of the SLS rocket,
I really
which is
need
still
to
coasting
figure out
in the same orbit
cut
as the
that
capsule
honestly.
itself. There are black and white markings on the second stage that Glover
We're
is
just
going
gonna
to
start
use as
exporting
targets to
solely
line
for,
up the nose cone of
profit.
Orion and proceed as if they were going to dock
Imports
with
for
another
profit and
spacecraft.
export for profit.
The two won't
Import,
actually touch each other. It's
import,
just a way to test the control system
import.
because on future Artemis missions, the Orion capsule will need to perform an actual docking procedure
And then
with a
exports.
separate moon lander.
Export.
If at any point during this testing phase there is a system failure or any concern that the astronauts might be in danger, then they are going to use that low spot in the elliptical orbit to separate the capsule from the service module and return to Earth. Now, assuming everything checks out,
build
they
some
are going to
Marchers.
use the
Marcher
high side of
lords.
the oval
Okay.
to ignite the service module
Cool.
engines and perform a translunar injection burn. That is going to put the Orion into a
Okay,
free
that's
return
fine. I don't
trajectory
care.
with the moon, which is a fancy way to say that they are going to let gravity take control from here on. As they swing out past the far side of the moon, its gravity will pull them back around to the near side, at which point the gravity of the Earth will take over and pull them back home. This is a highly efficient flight plan, and it's actually what saved the astronauts on board Apollo 13 after they suffered an explosion on board the spacecraft that damaged their oxygen supply and knocked out power to their service module. On this trajectory, it will take Artemis 2 another 4 days to reach the moon. During that time, the astronauts will be conducting a lot of experiments, mostly on themselves, to monitor the effects of a deep space environment on the human body. We didn't have wearable computers with biometric sensors back in the Apollo days, so there's a new opportunity to learn a lot about biology in space, particularly the effects of cosmic
I
radiation.
wonder if we have any gold
which
we can
is
import.
also why astronauts will be testing
For our
an
minting,
emergency
'cause it seems like our
radiation
minting is
shelter
kinda
on
shit.
their journey. The spacecraft
Keeps
is
popping
already
up.
shielded against the background radiation of space, but there is always the risk of getting caught in a solar flare or coronal mass ejection, which is a random event when the sun kicks out a big chunk of its own radioactive atmosphere into space. Now, it's very unlikely that one of those would hit the spacecraft while it's outside the protective atmosphere of the Earth, but there is a plan just in case. The crew will practice moving into a storage area below the floor of the main capsule space, where they'll be surrounded with bags of food and other supplies. The idea is that this will provide extra shielding in case of a solar event. When Artemis 2 finally reaches the moon on day 6 of the mission, they are going to approach from a very wide arc and make their closest pass over the far side of the moon, coming within about 10,000 kilometers of the surface. That's actually much further out than any of the Apollo missions. They were down at just over 100.
Alright, so I think I'm gonna,
so the big difference now is that
I don't know,
we're able
like,
to see the moon
Scotland's
from
a hard
much
start, you know, because,
wider
like,
perspective.
you gotta
We'll see
really
more of the
build
lunar
up your
surface than
territory.
any other person before. And using modern technology, they can still zoom in with telephoto lenses and high-resolution sensors to see all of the close details as well. Unfortunately, their time with the moon will only last a few hours. Just as quickly as they arrive, they'll continue that loop and begin the return journey to Earth, which will take another 4 days. That leaves just one final action, the most dangerous point in the entire mission, re-entry. As Orion barrels towards the Earth, the propulsion system is going to perform one final adjustment to put the spacecraft on an angle that will impact the Earth's atmosphere. Then the service module will separate from the capsule, and Integrity will flip around to point its heat shield down towards the surface. Now, we've gotten pretty familiar with seeing crews re-enter the atmosphere on space shuttle missions or in SpaceX Dragon capsules, but coming home from the moon is not in the same ballpark as returning from the ISS. Artemis 2 will be traveling much faster, over 40,000 kilometers per hour, and the heat that their capsule will experience tops out at over 2,760 degrees Celsius.
I need to fucking cut
This
expenses.
is why NASA did their first test on Artemis 1 without any people on board. We've seen the Orion capsule survive this re-entry once before, and that gives us confidence that our crew will be safe when they return home from the moon. Although the word safe is relative when it comes to human spaceflight. Anything involving rockets and traveling beyond the protective atmosphere of the Earth is
Building
going
maintenance
to be
cathedral.
inherently dangerous. There is
Honestly,
no
I might
way
have
around
to
it.
destroy the
But
cathedrals.
if everything goes according to plan, the
That sounds
Integrity
like
capsule
so
will
fucked
splash
up,
down
but
in the
like
Pacific Ocean
they're not
about 50
causing a
nautical
lot of
miles off
benefit
the
other
coast of
than
San Diego,
literacy
California. That
and
is
like
where a combined
migration
team of the US
attraction,
Navy,
and I don't
Air
really,
Force,
you
and
know, I could do that
NASA
with the
will be
settlement.
waiting to recover the crew
Not
and
cost
capsule.
us as much.
This will be a historic moment, not just for NASA, but for human spaceflight
Alright, we're gonna do
on
it.
a global scale. It's
We're
a
gonna piss
small
off the
reminder
clergy
of
though,
our
but
true
that's fine.
capability as explorers. Because of course, people have walked on the surface of the moon. They did that a long time ago, and that's not what Artemis 2 is trying to be. It's not about a
We'll
rush
just
to
replace
plant a
them
new
by
flag.
building
It's the beginning of the beginning of a
scriptoriums, because
new
that
chapter
doesn't
in human
lose the clergy
exploration
money.
of outer space.
And
So we are on the verge of something amazing right now, but we still have so much more to come.
alright, so we're just gonna build up the scriptoriums. Yeah, that's already cutting
There
back on
will
our
be a
costs.
city on Mars in the year 2050. It will be humanity's second home, our first outpost away from the shelter of the Earth, and a construction project that will cement our future as a multi-planet species. SpaceX is determined to make this vision a reality, but it's going to require more than just ambition and big rockets to colonize Mars. The biggest thing that would set a Mars city apart from
Alright,
some
there we
other
go.
off-world colony like a
Not
moon
losing
base,
any
for
more money.
example, is this
We
idea
could
of
destroy some more
being
buildings, like, and
self-sustaining.
then focus on
You see,
building
a
profitable
person living
buildings.
on the moon could still return to the
Because
Earth
we're not really
as
making a lot of
often
money
as
right now, and we have
there's
debt,
only about
so
1 day of
might be the
travel
thing to
time
do
between the
realistically.
and likewise, that would mean that any
We're very
resources the
close to
people of
having
the
a
moon might require
negative
from Earth
balance,
would
so
be
we could
within easy reach
do.
at all times. Mars is a different story. Now we are looking at 8 months of travel time one way from Earth. This could be improved in the future with nuclear propulsion systems, but even if that works out as good as can be expected, the trip to Mars would still be around 45 days. That means the people of
Okay,
Mars
that's fine.
cannot be dependent on the resources of Earth. They have to learn to harvest everything that the red planet has to offer, and what it has is really not much. But that will drive the creation of a massive industry on Mars to extract those resources and transform them into the necessities of human life. With the idea being that one day, the ships from Earth will just stop. Whatever the reason for that might be, support from our homeworld will come to an end and humanity will continue on from our second planet. This is going to require around 1 million people or more to be living and thriving in a Martian city before anything goes wrong on Earth. So that means we need to build deep roots on
Alright,
Mars.
so we're gonna
both
need to build temples
figuratively
before we build
and
anything
literally.
else. Oh fucking hell, Civil War.
First, there were robots.
You know, it could be worth losing the Civil War and doing a fresh start. Right now we have I don't know.
And when we do get there, we'll be following.
Yeah, we'll lose the Civil War so we can
Optimus
have a fresh. I don't know if that.
Probably not a coincidence.
See, I don't know if that actually does reset it.
The exact technology
the bankruptcy.
that they're going to need to start building on Mars. Optimus is a fully
we aren't
autonomous
losing a lot of money right now.
humanoid, and it's
it must be these
these
northern and far southern bits that lose
the
most money,
that,
so the
Optimus
vast
could also
territories.
Begin doing a job that will
let
eventually
me
be taken over by a person, like a Mars
levies.
colonist, for example. The thing about Mars is that it's just too far away and too inhospitable to simply launch a crew of human beings out onto the frontier and
we'll
let them fend
gather
for
them
themselves. It may have
to
worked
Glasgow.
for the Europeans colonizing the New World, but the journey to Mars will be by far the most dangerous migration that humankind has ever experienced. The surface of Mars is colder than Antarctica. It's drier than the Sahara Desert, but with even bigger dust storms, and the atmosphere is so thin that liquid can't even exist. There's just not enough pressure to hold it together, so what you get is instant evaporation. People are mostly liquid, so outside of a pressure suit on Mars, you would instantly start to freeze,
They'd have to
boil, and
terraform it.
suffocate all at the same time. And even if you did stay safe inside your suit, you're still likely to get a heavy dose of radiation. The lack of atmosphere out there means that there's almost nothing separating the Martian surface from the colossal nuclear reactor in space.
Actually, we can win this easily. They spawn with like the worst cities in the world. And you know what we can do? We can delete some of our forts. Only keep the ones southern
as early as
bit.
2026. SpaceX has a roadmap that shows 5 Starship landers heading to Mars, each one loaded with 10 tons of payload. Now, the only real goal of that first
once we win this war, we're gonna delete every single fort and build like a wall of them up right here.
There will probably
I don't know,
be
maybe
a
not. I
learning
mean, that's a
curve.
bad idea, but
One of the things we know about SpaceX
let
is
the
that
nobles
they learn
build
through
them.
trial and error, and oftentimes that means stuff blows up at first.
In order to have a good economy, you have to have a shit military at first. Then once you embrace,
assuming that one ship lands safely and releases
once you are able to embrace professional armies, you build up your military with professional armies. Rely on levies in the meantime. Sure, your population is going to go down in the short term, especially when you hit the Black Death. But
20 Starship landers, each carrying 75 tons of cargo, most of which is going to be infrastructure for the first people to arrive. Now, let's talk about where this Mars colony is going to be located. SpaceX has already identified the Arcadia region as a prime candidate for settlement. This is just northeast of the volcano Olympus Mons, the tallest mountain in the entire solar system. Arcadia is a flat plain that's close to the equator, yet still believed to contain large deposits of water ice, which is going to be the single most important resource on Mars for a couple of reasons.
Hydrogen,
when we talk
fuel,
about the infrastructure that the Optimus robots are going to be building for their future human comrades, there are 2 critical machines that they need to get up and running. One is a water treatment plant. People need to drink, but water is really heavy. Just bringing enough of it to keep everyone alive on the 8-month journey from Earth to Mars is going to be a challenge, and that already involves using a lot of recycled water. But there are only so many times that you can turn last night's pee into this morning's coffee. Now, the cool thing about water
imagine
is
doing
that.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would go to Mars
just hydration. For
if,
example, you can
like,
break water
not even if it was just bad here. Just to be one of the first people to set foot on a new planet as a permanent colony. Like, I would do it, and I'm not even lying. Because I feel like there's some stuff, I don't know, like, there's some stuff that only comes along once in every fucking 500 generations or 100 generations, and that's something that is one of them. Like, that's like Christopher Columbus level, like, glory, you know what I mean? Like, fucking building, like, a new civilization, a new, literally a first
just bringing
for all of
enough it to last
humanity.
the journey and
Even
land
the
on Mars
moon,
will
dude.
be
Even the
difficult,
moon I
which
would go
means there
to.
won't
And I
be
mean, that's
fuel
obviously
left
better because
over
you
to
could come
launch
back
a
if you wanted to,
second
but
time and come
it
all
would
the way back
stop.
to Earth.
You probably would never
So
be able
a
to go back.
second big
Unless you
infrastructure
were like
project
doing
for
some
the Optimus
merchant
pods
type of thing,
is going to be
ferrying
constructing a
supplies
rocket
back and
fuel
forth to the moon, to the Earth, and like
Now,
minerals
there
back
are
to
some
Earth and
rockets that burn pure
supplies to the
hydrogen
moon,
as their
whatever.
fuel source,
But
but it's
I
not
feel
a
like that'd be a
popular
cool thing
choice
that they would
because
let you do.
hydrogen is a very
Grant you
difficult
like
element
merchant
to work with.
licenses, but I feel
It's
like that's
very
beyond
prone
my
to
lifetime.
weird chemical
Well, then that'll happen.
reactions and is extremely
Because
hard to
you know you're
contain
not gonna
because
have
it's
like
the lightest
private
element
space
in the
flight
universe.
unless you're really
That
rich.
is why SpaceX
Which I don't
chooses
know. It's a goal of
methane as
mine
their
to,
fuel
you know.
for Starship. It's
It's
hydrogen
an
with a little
unrealistic
bit of
goal, but it's
carbon
still a
mixed
goal
in.
that would be cool.
One carbon atom for every 4 hydrogen
What were we
atoms,
doing? We
and
were
that
going
carbon
values.
helps to stabilize the
No, it
mixture
was on
and weigh
here.
it down enough to make this whole process a lot
Society.
easier. Now we know
Works
hydrogen
of
comes
art,
from
religion.
water, but carbon will come out of thin air, literally.
Can't do saints yet.
What little atmosphere Mars does have is mostly carbon dioxide, so a carbon capture device would be able to extract the necessary atoms from the air. You get carbon to make methane and some bonus oxygen for people to breathe.
Alright, let's take these guys
In order to
out.
support the new robotic manufacturing industry on Mars, there's going to need to be a mining operation as well. The water ice that we are going to need is located
I feel
under
like this is what they're gonna do with the people who are like causing problems on Earth. They're just gonna send them to other planets. But honestly, I don't think that's the case because you do that and you're gonna cause a secondary problem in society. You know, like Australia was Britain's downfall. I don't know if that's actually the case, but it kind of seems like it, you know.
Start unlocking those resources that
not
make it
really.
possible for
I
humans
know
to
it's not the
survive
case, but
and eventually
you know.
create a sustainable colony. As a bonus,
I actually don't know.
soil and
I don't
rock
know
that
the
they
history
dig
of
up
Australia
while
enough,
mining
related
can
to
be
Britain at
processed
least.
into a kind of asphalt
I know that the
and
US
used
and
to lay
Australia
down
has
hard
this thing called the
surfaces for
Anzacs,
roads and landing
that was
pads.
related to Britain
And that
also.
is
But
where we
then,
end up about 2 years
I don't know if
after our
Anzacs
first
is
large-scale
related to Britain
robot
actually.
landing.
I know it's
This
related
could
to the
be
US
as early as
additionally,
the year
but Australia,
2030.
New Zealand,
There's
the
nothing
US or
wrong with
something.
a little optimism from time to time.
I don't know what it's called exactly.
And now it's time for the first people to arrive on Mars as part of this massive Starship fleet with 100 landers, each carrying 150 tons of cargo. There are going to be 2 new construction projects that need to begin once the first human settlers arrive. One is a power plant. Up until now, the robots have only needed enough electricity to recharge their batteries, something that could easily be handled by a few solar panels. But now that people are here, their energy needs are going to be much higher. So once the power plant is ready, all of the infrastructure that the robots have been building...
How many cavalry do we
turned
have?
on. Life support systems that provide
We
oxygen,
have-
water, heat, and air pressure need to run 24/7.
First consolidate the
The
units.
length of one day on Mars is almost exactly the same as a day on Earth, which means that every 12 hours or so, it's going to get dark. And that means solar panels need to be hooked up to batteries. Big ones. By now, we can probably say it's not a coincidence that Tesla has been manufacturing large battery storage systems that they call the Megapack. You can fit a couple of these inside of a Starship lander, and just one Megapack can power a small town for a couple of hours. So keeping a small Mars colony alive overnight is actually more than doable. But people also need homes on Mars. The advantage of the Starship lander with its gigantic size is that it can continue to provide adequate shelter for people long after they touch down on Mars. So there's no rush to move out. But Starship is also not an ideal long-term home. It's very tall and narrow, and you have to take an elevator every time to get in or out. So now, people and Optimus Pods work together to build the first permanent habitat on Mars. These habitats can take many forms. The first one that comes to mind for most people is going to be a big glass dome. And that's maybe something we can figure out a lot further down the line of city construction, but for the first Martian homestead, that's just way too hard. For example, we don't build a lot of giant glass domes on Earth, but the closest thing ever made to a sci-fi Mars city would be the Singapore Airport Nature Dome. This covers 135,000 square meters of internal space, and the structure itself weighs 3,500
Alright, we're gonna delete
tons,
all our forts
which would
after
be
the
at
Civil
least
War,
350
because we
Starship
have
loads of
pretty
material
high,
just to build one dome, plus all of the construction machinery you would need on Mars to actually
pretty
assemble
high of,
something of this size. Now we can build
appeasement
domes.
of the
We
rebels
just have to
and
think
all
more about
the
working with the
estates.
natural environment
And I
of
think that
Mars.
if we do
For
that,
example,
and then
we can make an
actually
ice
hold on,
dome.
I think we can
It's an
build.
idea that's currently being
What's next
studied
on our
by NASA's
list?
Langley
So
Research
we
Center,
have road to
and it takes
Dunfermline, expand
advantage of the
irrigation,
natural insulating
village
power
marketplaces,
of
support
water.
fishing villages.
This is the same reason why
What's this
Inuit
one?
people in the north make igloos. Frozen
Sorry, let
water
me
will keep
move
heat
that over.
in, but
I'll move it
just
over for
as
you too.
important on Mars, it's going to keep
we're on the screen.
radiation out. You see, water is actually one of the best shields against deadly radiation from the sun. The ice dome begins with an inflatable donut-shaped module at its base. Then a solid mold for the dome shape goes up around that, and finally, autonomous robots
So if
would fill the
Glasgow
dome with
prosperity
water ice
increases by
sourced
this,
from the Martian
20%.
surface. The ice would be translucent enough to allow natural light to shine through, which
we
is
want
going to
fishing
benefit
village
the
up
natural sleep cycle
and
and
village
mental health
marketplace.
of
Village
people
marketplace
living
unlocks
inside.
more fishing
This
village
makes the
unlocks
ice
nothing.
dome ideal for a house, but it might
Construct
lack the
irrigation,
versatility
construct
required for bigger and more diverse infrastructure like research labs and factories.
We'll do these
So keeping
first.
the inflatable
Actually,
module
probably we
at
should
the
just
core,
build
which
a
is
mason,
something that
right?
we can make on Earth in pretty
Mason
much any
Glasgow.
shape and size we might need, and then fairly easily ship to Mars in a single rocket. Then we just need a more versatile material to cover it over and provide that
stone
extra
quarry here
strength in a solid
in
shell.
Lanark.
Again, we
Or
need
Lanric,
to take advantage
whatever
of
it is.
local resources. So if ice mining operations are going to keep progressing as humans arrive, then we're going to end up with plenty of rock that gets dug up along the way to finding that ice, which we can then turn around and use as construction material. We already looked at using this mining waste to make asphalt, but for building a sturdy shell around an inflatable house, we'll need something that's more like concrete. In order to do this on Mars, you need a binder. That's going to help the rocks stick together and form into a solid material. And this binding agent is also going to be easy to find in our Mars colony because it's going to come from human waste. This is a concept often referred to as astrocrete or biocrete, and it actually turns the bodily fluids of
Oh, you know what, guys? I'm gonna end the
into
live
a
now.
building material. The
But
idea
yeah,
for
I had a
biocrete
great
comes
time
from a
hanging out
study
with
at the
you guys.
University of Manchester.
Even though we didn't have a lot of
They've
people
tested
popping
this
in chat,
process using human
I
blood,
really had a good time hanging
sweat,
out with everyone.
and urine.
I'm gonna go live
For
tomorrow.
an ideal Mars colony,
Probably be
we would hope
live
to avoid shedding too much blood
after
and sweat,
1:30 because that's when
assuming we can
options
all stay
markets close, and
hydrated,
that's what
there
that's
should
my
be
work
an
basically.
abundance of
I don't
urine
talk
to
about it
go
on
around.
stream as much as
We
I
know that
I
it's
try to
possible
not
to
talk about it, but
extract drinkable water from our pee, but
you
there's
know, work
also
bleeds
a lot
into
of
work.
waste product
You
that
know,
gets filtered out. That's called
you do what you
urea,
gotta
and
do.
that's the good stuff. It can actually
I don't
be
know,
mixed with the
like.
soil on Mars to make
I really
concrete
enjoy all the
even
things I do, the side
stronger
hustles,
than
the
what we
work,
build with today on
the
I know that
hobby,
sounds
which is
crazy, but
gaming, you know.
medieval
And
stonemasons
for
actually
me,
used to
maybe
mix
we'll
animal
just
blood
finish this
into their
war,
mortar
but
when they were building castles to
yeah,
make
because
it
we already
stronger.
got this
So
done.
this isn't entirely
Just have a
new.
couple
And
non-fortified
then there's
provinces
food,
to
which
build
is arguably
or to
going
take
to
down.
be one of, if not the
I don't think
hardest
we have any more
aspect of a
fortified provinces,
self-sustaining city on Mars.
No, we don't.
Just like water
So
and
let's just
fuel,
go
there's
take on
only
Sterling.
so
Actually,
much
maybe
food
Sterling
we
is
can
no,
possibly
Sterling's
bring
ours.
down along with us
They have
from Earth.
Clackman.
So at some point,
So let's just
we will need
march
an
north and take
abundant
down this rebellion,
supply of Mars
and
grown
then
nutrition.
we'll from there.
Farming is difficult under any circumstance, even on Earth. It's one of the
that there.
toughest jobs around, but Mars poses a unique challenge to growing food. The soil is literally toxic. Martian soil is laced with
Okay, there we
something
go.
we call perchlorates, which contain chlorine, which is the stuff we put in swimming pools to stop bacteria from growing. So the same goes for anything you might want to plant in Mars
That gives
soil.
you good water
The
treatment
perchlorates
stuff,
are going
though.
to stop it from growing.
I don't know though. Actually, I don't know if that's
And
the
that
thing you
leaves
can
us
use on
with two
Mars.
solutions that are about equally as
I'd imagine
challenging.
you could, though.
Either we need to transport
Repay
all of
loan.
our soil for
So our
agriculture
goals
from
for
the
today
Earth
until we
to
end the
Mars,
video, we're gonna
which
just
even
pay
a
off the loan
starship
stuff
full of dirt is
and
not that much when we're trying to
defeat the
grow food
rebellion.
for a
So
million
let's
people.
just keep that up and
Or we
keep
need
sieging.
yet another Mars-based industry for processing soil, removing perchlorates, and making sure that there's adequate nutrients available to make it viable for growing plants. Now, luckily, there's another outlet for repurposing human waste. If urine can be used to make cement, then the number 2 can be used to fertilize the fields and feed 1 million people. No one said this was going to be pretty, but if we can lock down those basic necessities of life,
I mean, why would it be pretty though? You see, like this dude, like he's got a good channel, but I don't think anyone realizes how hard it was for the first people to settle in the New World. Like, obviously you don't know because you never were there. No one would ever know. I don't know, but I've seen documentaries, and obviously documentaries don't tell shit compared to how it actually was. But people ate people, you know. It's like they buried dead fish to get their soil to like actually grow. It wasn't pretty. Like getting that shit to be successful was not easy. Like the colonies, and I don't know. I think people. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, guys, I'm just gonna pay off these loans, and got one more to pay off, and then we're gonna end the live. But yeah, I'm gonna go live probably around 2 o'clock tomorrow, right after markets close. I might take a quick siesta, or if I'm tired, depends on how I sleep tonight. I don't think I'm gonna, you know,
missiles for the Nazi army in his home country of Germany. Von Braun invented the V2 rocket, which was the first ever long-range missile.
Alright guys, I'm gonna end that, and we're gonna delete these ports.
NASA, where he would serve as the director of the Marshall Space Flight Center.
Let's just delete all these ports.
Alabama. The United States hired a lot of Nazis back in the late 40s and early 50s, but that's a whole other video.
We'll leave it in
anyway, in his free time between serving Adolf and Uncle Sam, Werner von Braun completed a work that would come to be known as Project Mars. This was a 280-page novel that outlined von Braun's plan for a crewed mission to the Red Planet.
Well, you know, we'll just delete them all.
That he was actively
at least with regards to.
Most of the book is just a fictional story about the first crew of people traveling to Mars.
All right, there we go, guys. I'm gonna end the live here. I had a great time with everyone. Peace.